Hey everybody, welcome to the POS Podcast. We're having another one this week since we missed 1 week. And with me I have Jordan Fringe. Hello.
Hello. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
And we have Saberspark.
Hello. Hello.
Jax might be joining later, but we'll see. He's been working on some stuff. But how have you guys been last week? So I guess for Jordan, you haven't been on since the first episode of this month?
It's been a little bit, but just been working. Didn't really get to take much of a vacation this month. A lot of plans got canceled, so I just kind of threw myself in some work. So yeah, it's nothing too crazy. It's been a January.
The old tried and true, getting back to work.
Yep.
We're done with January tomorrow. Like that's 1 month down. Let's go.
I know. Does YouTube get better again?
We're done with January in like a few hours.
Good. Not good rids. I felt like it was a
fine month.
Right. There wasn't anything. Well, I say that. I'm like, the world hasn't been too crazy. It's like Russia has its guns aimed at Ukraine.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, we're still okay right now. All right. We're still, nothing's happened yet. All right. January went through with, things are going on, but everyone's alive and healthy right now, right?
I saw a funny shit post where it had like that one GIF where it has a truck driving up, like I think it was like on Mockbusters? No, not Mockbusters. Shit. What's that one show on like the Discovery Discovery Channel where the guys who like would Mythbusters. There you go.
You were very close. You were very close.
I'm like, what is it? But like it had like a truck driving up to a beam, but someone like edited it to where the truck's driving it never hits the metal beam. So it's just it driving towards it over and over and over without it ever hitting. And someone said that with top text like Russia invading Ukraine. And it just has it like the truck driving towards the beam. And it's like, is it going to do it? I don't know. I say that not trying to sound like I'm trivializing a very serious thing, but that's the curve we have to like grade on now because of these last few years is like we haven't killed each other yet. Okay. Unqualified success.
No, we don't kill each other. The virus kills all of us. That's what happens.
There you go. Yeah.
I feel like every January at this point we're threatened with a World War III because I remember in 2020.
Yeah, in 2020
it was like in January.
Yeah.
World War III was trending, and everyone's like, "Oh no, World War III!" And then here's another January where everyone's like, "Oh no, World War III?" Question mark again.
And also like I see like on Twitter trending where it's like North Korea threatening missiles or whatever. And I'm like, bro, I've been so desensitized. Like, shit, I get off the pot. Like, I just like
North Korea. All North Korea does is like, let's see how far in the water it goes today. Wow, it went a little further than yesterday. Let's do it again. And that's all they do is they just shoot it right into the water, and they disappear for a month, and they do it again. Like,
I was told that like part of it for them is causing a ruckus to make the international community like
scramble.
Right. It's like, what do y'all want? You want money? What do you want? Just shut the fuck up. Like, don't stop stomping your feet. I don't know. I'm not an international relations person, but the world's a messy place, and I guess unqualified successes is what I measure my optimism by. Where it's like, if we can just keep going step by step, come on. But
yeah,
we got.
If everyone can just put the weapons down for a minute, that'd be great.
Just for a second.
Just 1 minute.
Well, now more than ever, I feel like you have to take such special time to like enjoy the little thing, right? Where it's like, oh man, I'm enjoying a nice slice of pizza, or this new game came out. I'm taking the time to just kind of just bask in like this reprieve is so worth it. To have an escape now more than ever. So yeah, I guess that can lead into the Pokemon stuff later, but just a thought.
Well, anyway, yeah. It's only been a week since the last podcast, so there's not too many topics to go over this time. But there are some big ones. But if you want to ask some questions, you can ask us either through chat or asking us on Twitter. Again, Jax might be on later. Talk about some things. We'll see. Anyway, first thing, I'll talk about a movie that I saw last and that's Belle, the Mamoa Hosoda film, who did Summer Wars, The Girl Who Left Her Time, Wolf Children, this is the newest movie by that director. And I really liked it. It's sort of about this virtual world. It's funny because like all this talk about like metaverse stuff, and after watching this movie, I'm like, oh my god, it's like the metaverse.
About time.
Where the whole concept of this virtual world is that you get a character based on the biometrics on your phone. Like, and you're stuck with that avatar. You can't change it.
Elaborate. Like
so you basically start over with that character in that world or whatever. And there's still like the real world and everything. It seems like just modern times. But like no, and you can remain anonymous or for whatever, as long as you don't tell anybody like what your character is. And there's like people who get famous for like whatever character there is. There's like singers and stuff. And that's what happens to this character, is that she becomes a famous singer. And then there's another character that's like they call the dragon, and they call him like a beast or whatever. And it's funny because like it is sort of like a combination of Summer Wars and Beauty and the Beast a little bit, but there's a bit more to it than that, because it explores a lot with how people act online, and behind like a different avatar or a different like personality. And I thought that was interesting.
I kind of dig that concept of you enter this virtual world, but no matter what, like the look that you get doesn't, like, you don't get to pick it. It just gives it to you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like being born as a human, right? It's just random. You look the way you look, and that's it. Everyone looks. I think that's way more interesting than something like VR chat, where like I can just be whatever I want to be. I think this is kind of a cool concept to be like, all right, well, you don't get to choose. You just get a random generated look, and there you go. That's kind of fun. I like that.
Is there any kind of like subtle undertones of like, this was picked for you because of you've discovered this lesson in your life? This is why you might be a small girl in real life, but you're a big old monster in this game because you got a roaring spirit.
Well, yeah, there's some other things about like emotional trauma or whatever, for like the way people look, which is very interesting. Like there's this like one woman that has like these fake photos of families and stuff because she wants a family, and she's like very, very like I want to say gracious. I'm blanking on the word. What?
Mythbusters.
No.
Mockbusters. Thank you very much.
Mockbusters.
But yeah, and in the virtual world, she's like represented by a baby because she's just a whiny like lady. But yeah, I thought it was very interesting, and there's a lot of like songs in the movie too, since like the movie's about a singer. But yeah, I would also recommend like watching it subbed, since like all the songs are in Japanese, so it just feels more natural to like watch it in Japanese. Because when I went to the theater, I had no idea if they were going to play it subbed or dubbed, because they had both options, but I didn't see it on the website or anything when I was looking to see if they were actually playing it at my theater. Also, a funny thing that happened, they played Matrix Resurrections on accident when I went to see this, and the few other people that were in the theater with me, because like it's a pretty late showing of it, and it's not like a popular movie or anything. So we I was like, wait, Warner Brothers logo, and then like the Matrix stuff comes down, and I was like, oh no. So I had to go tell them.
Or maybe you're in the Matrix, Paleo, and it was a
maybe
little glitch in the Matrix.
I just thought it was I thought it was pretty coincidental that it's also like a movie about like a virtual world. So
I feel like that kind of stuff at theaters happens way too often. Like I can recall so many times where I've sat down for a film, and another film starts playing, and they go, "Oh, hold on, sorry," and they have to they have to restart it like 10 minutes in after they figure it out. I think the last time was before the pandemic started. I was going to see the last X-Men movie, the Dark Phoenix, right?
Mhm.
And like a week or two before that, Godzilla King of the Monsters had just come out. And I saw it like the week before in theaters, and then I'm going to see this, and everyone's here for like this fan screening event of Dark Phoenix. Everyone's really excited, and then I noticed that they played the same like special 2 minute like preview thing for X-Men that they played in front of Godzilla in front of the X-Men movie, and I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be weird. So I sat there with joy, like waiting for everyone's reaction of being disappointed for like a few minutes, and then all of a sudden, boom, boom, and then like the legendary logo comes up and it starts playing the opening of Godzilla, and everyone's like confused, and I'm sitting here laughing so hard, and then like 10 minutes in, they go, sorry, and instead of just cutting right to X-Men, they went back and played another 20 minutes of trailers and then X-Men. So it was a very interesting night.
Damn, I almost Godzilla.
Hey, listen, I was like, listen, I'm fine with they play Godzilla again.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, Belle, yeah, it's another great Mamoru Hosoda film. My favorite's probably still Girl Let Through Time. I did see it. Yeah, I saw a Twitter post saying like, oh yeah, Hosoda's films, like I actually like more than Studio Ghibli's films. Which if you combine all of them, then yeah, I would say like on average, Hosoda's films are better, like on average. Like if you combine all the Ghibli films, because there's a few Ghibli films that aren't too great. They still look
like
good.
what?
Blasphemy.
I would say Tales of Earthsea. That's not very good. The last one that just came out, the Earwig and the Witch. Remember that?
The 3D one?
Yeah.
I still haven't watched it.
Well, the thing is, it's not even just the animation. Like the story itself was kind of weak. Where it's like,
yeah,
it's just,
that's what happened with Tales of Earthsea, and that's also another film that's by Miyazaki's son, Goro Miyazaki.
Miyazaki just takes out his belt and he's like, "You have not learned." Well, jokes aside, like there seems to be a very tumultuous relationship between Hayao, or good God, the father and son. Wait, Hayao, right? Hayao Miyazaki.
Hayao Miyazaki and Goro.
And Goro.
Okay.
The entire footage of like Hayao leaving the theater, like halfway through Goro's like Earwig movie, and like the camera's following Hayao, and he like went down to the lobby to smoke a cigarette, and they're like, "What do you think?" And Hayao says like, "He hasn't learned." He's like, "He still hasn't learned," and I'm like, "Oof, man, that's some cold like
dude.
honesty."
Yeah.
Can you imagine like your
that was after the
coming
showing
out
of Tales of
online?
Earthsea. Is that correct?
I thought it was Earwig. It must have been one or the other, but like still, like Jordan, you were saying, like that's your father, one of the legendary animators of our time.
Imagine like on your YouTube platform, right? You make this video and you put all this hard work into it. Like he's like, "This is my creation," and then your dad publicly goes online and is like, "Yeah, my son makes bad stuff."
And this is like, but and also keep in mind, your dad's like the top ranked YouTuber in the world as well.
Your dad owns YouTube.
Your dad owns YouTube. He's like, "This is the worst video."
Don't subscribe to my son. He hasn't learned.
My son doesn't know how to edit his audio.
He doesn't. He hasn't figured out how to balance it yet. Sorry.
It's tough. Goes to show you.
Color correction's off.
Yeah, there's a lot of animation I still gotta watch, like movies, shows. But this Belle thing, so I got a few emails, people recommending it to me. So
yeah, it's really good. I'm not sure when it's gonna go to streaming or anything. I know the G-Kiz is really good. But anyway, let's move on to much better. The Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild.
Oh, finally.
Yeah.
Is it a much better movie? I don't know.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go.
Yeah, so this is the first Ice Age movie released under Disney. But not by Blue Sky, because Blue Sky is gone.
Was Blue Sky a blue dye?
Yeah. So I will say the title is kind of misleading, because it is more about Crash and Eddie, the two little possum characters.
Lame.
Yeah, than Buck, because like Buck is more like a side character in this than he is a main character. Which
That's
like what is
lame.
what he was when in the first movie he showed up.
Buck was great in the dinosaur movie. He was like one of the highlights of that. But I said just has been like this steady decline in quality. Like it's gone
Yeah.
downhill.
Oh yeah.
Isn't it Simon Pegg who voices him? Right?
Yeah, the thing is though, like Simon Pegg is the only returning voice actor. None of the other voice actors have returned in this
So
movie.
you're telling me they have the original Ice Age cast in this, right? But they don't have the voice actors.
No,
So like
they
they have the characters.
Yeah, the characters, but not the. They don't have Ray Romano.
man.
They don't.
Paleo.
They don't have John
Is this
Leguizamo.
where Disney? This is where Disney gave up on putting their budget. They couldn't get
Paleo.
those guys back.
Vincent Tong is a voice in the movie.
Yeah, he is. He's one of the Possum brothers.
Which is good on Vincent, but like
Yeah.
Wait, wasn't Josh Peck one of the voices of the
He
two?
was.
And he didn't return?
Nope.
He has a show on Disney Plus.
Right?
Why didn't he return?
And John Leguizamo is in Encanto, but like,
What is going on, Disney?
who's
And
watched
okay,
that movie?
Is anyone having like one of those weird, like, I thought it was this and not? Because like up until a week ago, I could have sworn when they announced this was a series and not a movie. And then all of a sudden, like the last week, it's like the new Ice Age movie. I'm like, I could have sworn this was a spin-off show for Disney Plus, where it was
Right,
just about
agreed.
characters, not about the main cast. And I was so confused to know that it was a movie. And it's weird to me how it's like the sixth movie is such a divergence from the rest of the films. So I don't know. I don't really have too much of an interest in checking it out personally.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like the Possum brothers, the Crash and Eddie, they want to like try to live on their own because they've been like depending on like Ellie, the girl mammoth
Elephant.
Yeah. They've been depending on Ellie, so they run away to go to the Lost World, which is in the.
Look, I wasn't wrong. Look, people in the chat, it was announced as a show first.
Oh.
People are saying it was so I'm not crazy. Thank you. I could have sworn when they announced this, when they first said it, I remember they're like a new Ice Age show. I could have sworn it was a show. So thank you for making me feel not stupid. I appreciate you, chat.
Hey then. But
There
yeah,
you
the Crash and they go off to the Lost World, which was in the third movie. Not Jurassic Park, the Lost World, but yeah.
Let's watch that instead.
Yeah, they meet up with Buck. And there's like this intelligent dinosaur that looks like one of the frilled dinosaurs, like a Triceratops or whatever. And he has a massive brain behind it. It's really weird looking. And he's like one of the only dinosaur that can talk, and he's like controls these raptors with fire. It's really dumb.
It sounds kind of dumb,
But
but
he controls raptors with his mind.
it's Ice Age 17 or whatever. So whatever.
It blows my mind that we had like at the time when the fourth movie came out, I was like, wow, they really made 4 Ice Age movies. That's crazy. And now this year, which is 20 years, I just want you to fathom this. This is the 20th year since the original Ice Age came out.
Oh yeah,
we've had Ice Age movies now for 20 years. That's weird.
That's Blue Sky's, cash cow. Well, it was.
We've had, what else did they do? We had what? Two Rios, one, did they do Epic? Do we have one Epic?
We have one
what
robots.
else was there?
Yeah, well, Ice Age was pretty much their moneymaker.
That was their big hit.
We couldn't get a Robots 2?
Didn't get a Robots 2.
Where's the baby? Yeah, actually, I like Robots. I think Robots at its core has a really good story.
Yeah,
and
it's very
and fun
interesting.
characters, but it's brought down by a bunch of topical, like Britney Spears, hit me, baby, and it's like,
but yeah, I will say the animation isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be when I watched this, because like I remember from like people saying the trailers like, oh, that doesn't look like what it usually looks like from Blue Sky, because Blue Sky was actually a very talented like animation studio. Their animation looked good. For this, it's from the same studio. For this movie, it's from the same studio that did the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie that came out in December.
Oh wow, they're working overtime, aren't they?
Yeah. And it definitely doesn't look as good as the other Ice Age movies, but it's not. I don't think it looks as bad as people are saying.
Does it look better than Ice Age 1 does today?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Like in some ways, yes, but there's some other things where it's like, oh, there's like no snow effects. Like it's Ice Age.
It's a long ice age. This is a long 20-year ice age.
Yeah.
But to say this ice age has had like 3 melts and 2 refreezes.
Yeah, I don't understand how it keeps going. The second movie was called The Meltdown, and then the third, the dinosaurs were hanging out. So
As
like,
far
why,
as I
why are we
know.
still in the snow?
I don't. Who can
And then Pangea separated. We had continental drift,
Dude.
and then some aliens came or something. I didn't even see that one.
I think it's wild that we never saw the baby again. Like that felt like
what happened to the baby?
Oh, they mentioned the baby.
Get out of town.
Is the baby
like
king of the dinosaurs?
Ellie in the beginning? She's talking about what happened in the past, like 5 movies.
Okay,
and she mentions the baby.
That's as close as we get.
That's as close as you're gonna get. And there's a little drawing, a little cave painting of the baby, but that's it.
Did everybody hate it? I like that was a meme where everybody's just like, "Fuck this kid."
Fuck the Ice Age baby.
This kid.
Oh, dude, I remember that was a meme. Oh my god,
Yeah.
that was forever ago, dude. Oh my, dude, time's moving so weird. That's crazy.
Well, memes move so quickly nowadays. It's like,
oh my
wow,
god,
this
forever.
But I will say, yeah, it definitely as far as like the visuals go, it's like a TV show, like CGI budget from what it looks like. It's still better than what I think people are saying it looks like, but yeah, it's nowhere near like any mainstream animation studio, even Illumination. So,
well, it seems like no harm, no foul. We'll see you in the 7th movie.
yeah, I know that they're gonna try to do another Rio. Since like,
great, are we gonna get Jesse Eisenberg back?
Yeah, since those were the 2 like most popular franchises out of Blue Sky. Disney's like, okay, Blue Sky, go away.
Strip it
We
for
own this
parts.
now.
Strip it for parts.
It's
All right. What?
I was gonna say it's just like, it's kind of a sad fate for Blue Sky, where it's like y'all made some really notable things and you were very good, but like you just couldn't really. I guess Fox was like, we're out of here.
Oh yeah. I was gonna mention this. Before you go on to the next topic, Scrat, that whole thing. So Scrat is not in this movie anywhere, which he's usually in an Ice Age movie. He's like always in the background doing the thing with the thing, the nut.
He's trying to get that nut.
He's trying to bust his nut.
Yeah.
And so there was an artist from in the 90s that was like trying to get a lawsuit for this character. And for like the past 20 years. And it seems like for some reason it was like, oh, Scrat's not in this movie, so and she's claiming that she won the lawsuit after like 20 years. But then like just like in the past like hour or so, Cartoon Brews posting like screenshots of the articles that people are posting about this and saying like it looks like people are talking about things they don't know about anymore. And then actual designer of the original Ice Age characters responded to it saying, yeah, haha. And it's like, oh, so what's going on here? So
What's happening?
Does Disney actually own the character? Or Disney and Fox actually own the character or not?
Could she be lying and pretending that she won?
It could
There's
be.
no way that she beat Disney. Like, and they can't go after Disney because, one, it wasn't a Disney problem. It was something they accidentally acquired. And the fact that they also didn't use it, knowing if there was this issue, would solve them from having those issues. They can't retroact. Like, it's a really sticky, litigious situation. And I don't think, even if she's in the right 100%, there's no way she could go up against Disney by herself.
Yeah, and I was looking at like the character because like the character is called Scrap with a Q and not a C. And also claiming it's like, oh, it's a combination of a squirrel and a rat, whereas like Scrat, the Ice Age character, I believe it's just like, oh, it's just like a prehistoric squirrel. I don't know if they've.
No,
yeah.
And I was questioning the validity of that post because like Ryan Walterson shared it with me, and I was looking into it where I'm like, that's interesting. And I looked at the sources on this person's website because like I don't want to sound cruel, but like she doesn't strike me as like she's altogether there mentally. I could be completely off base with that opinion, but like I looked at her art on her YouTube or Twitter banner, and I'm like, this looks kind of juvenile, and the way you've been operating almost seems kind of manic. And like, hey, listen, I'm all for taking down the corporate, pieces of shit, especially if they steal from you. So I'm not writing off that she's not telling the truth, but it's just a very like, what the hell, where'd that story come from? And I'm just like, I need to see some sources. I need to see what the actual court case. I need to see both sides of the argument with documentation, because as of right now, having some random person online saying that they won a case that, like Jordan, like you said, like I'm not sure if Disney inherits that lawsuit from Fox or if Fox would continue. I don't know. There's a lot of questionable things going on with the story. I don't trust it completely.
Yeah, law is something that I originally wanted to when I was younger to be like, yeah, I'm gonna be a lawyer because like I knew a lot about law. I grew up watching a lot of those shows, and then I didn't go because of it's a lot of reading. But just understanding it, like it's such a hard case to get, and then to go up against Disney. There's a reason they have some of the most expensive lawyers. They don't lose. And if Disney does lose, it's because they wanted to concede to stop, attention from the media if it's a big thing like the Scarlett Johansson issue.
Yeah.
Well, and also like Scarlett Johansson's got big money, and she's also an asset to them.
Exactly.
Versus this person where it's like, listen, we'll drag this out for as long as we can do this forever, and you won't win.
Right.
And
they'll bankrupt her first before it even goes to full court.
Which is a testament to the system being flawed and in favor of rich people, and I don't like that. But for what it's worth, for like, I mean, because there was something with Finding Nemo where someone said you stole my clownfish design, and it's like, no,
it's a clownfish,
right?
Yeah, it's a clownfish.
there are moments where it's like I think these artists are a little bit out of their lane where they feel like it's a coincidence, and that's it. That happens.
Yeah.
For this squirrel thing, I'm like, this seems. I don't know. I want to see how it plays out, but I'm not trusting of that claim that she won. I got to see actual documentation that
I'd highly doubt she won.
Yeah. I'm not saying she doesn't deserve it if she's been wronged. I just find it kind of like suspicious.
Yeah. All right.
A little sus.
Next thing, let's talk about Pokemon.
I know about that.
Yeah, Pokemon. Pokemon Legends Arceus. Or Arceus, whichever.
Arceus.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of Arceus.
I'm gonna go run Lamia real fast. We all do this.
All right. So yeah, I've been playing it the past couple of days. When I got it on Friday, I'm not sure how far I'm into it. I'm at the 4th area, I think. The snowy one. That I just got to. And I've been having a lot of fun with it. It's been like the most fun I've had with a Pokemon game in a very long time. I love how like snappy catching and battling Pokemon is compared to traditional Pokemon, where even just like the menus, how easy it is to switch out like items or Pokemon. Like having whichever Pokemon you want at the ready at any time just by pressing the R button is so convenient.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one thing I think this game does really well is just like the feel of like trying to like capture Pokemon where you're sneaking around in the grass or whatever, or trying to explore the area, and there's something that feels just kind of visceral about throwing the Pokeball and having when it's successful that little firework going off, that it feels
great.
nice.
Dude, I love it. It sounds like redundant to be like, oh, it's just Breath of the Wild with Pokemon, but literally the blueprint for this game said, okay, how can we make Pokemon and Breath of the Wild coexist? And this is literally that, from the menu system, from traversing the lands to how the story plays.
I would
like,
also
a lot of that.
Yeah, I would also say a lot of, because since I got into Monster Hunter a lot more last year, like there's a lot of stuff in here that I'm like, this reminds me a lot of Monster Hunter as far as like the way the gameplay plays out, where the way you take on missions, the way you go to the different areas and take out the items that you need. Like it feels so much like Monster Hunter.
Yeah, and I think when it comes down to what feels lacking from this game, I talked about this over the past weekend, but like there's two big things that this game really needs, in my opinion, that would make it like that perfect experience like a bit more, right? And that's one, the lands look repetitive and dull.
Yeah.
But that also is a plus because the load times are literally instant. There's
Right.
like no loading screens besides like a quick like flash of like a black screen and then you're at your location. It is very fast, and I do think that's because the lands aren't really that detailed. And the other thing is voice acting, or just RPG voice acting, where it may be like a grunt or like a sound.
Yeah.
It is a very quiet game. It is so quiet to a point of like it's so serene when you're just hearing music and you're trying to catch Pokemon, to then in a conversation when the music's still playing and people just moving their lips with no sound. So
Right.
it just needs a little bit of something. But it's really good. Like it takes like a lot of those things from Monster Hunter and Breath of the Wild and does it better. Like it took the Breath of the Wild, like you can climb anywhere. Like in this game you get Pokemon to help you traverse the world throughout the game, and then at the end you have a bunch of different ways to traverse it, and it does flying better at a certain point. It does climbing, no matter if it's raining or not. It's just you can climb. That's my big. I hate Breath of the Wild when it rains. I hate that, and I know it's like, but that's part of the game. Doesn't matter. I hate it. It's not fun. But in this game, it just doesn't matter. You climb whatever you want, and the game's like, cool. It's raining, snowing, doesn't matter. You can climb it. So it does a lot of those, better things. It's just interesting overall, and then the end game, like the story itself, solid. It's the most engaging story that I've enjoyed since Black and White, when that was very story heavy based. This has a very interesting.
Yeah, as far as I go,
story.
like this is the most fun I've had since Black and White.
It takes some cues from Mystery Dungeon. It's kind of like this pseudo sequel to Diamond and Pearl, at the same time being a pseudo prequel. It's both. It's weird. It's interesting. And the post game is larger. Like the game really expands once you beat the story, and I'm right at the end of the main story, and I know what's left to come because of where my friends are at. So like I've seen what happens after this, but like I'm at like 23 hours into the game, and I'm like right near this final part, and it's
I'm about 12 hours in, I think. So I'm not that far yet.
And there's a lot of crazy cool stuff that happens. There's a lot of characters that make references or are from other Pokemon games that you'll be like, oh, that's cool. And it's I don't know, it's very interesting. I think it's it's good to see Game Freak being ambitious and landed as close to being great as they could, because there is a few things that hold it back. Like I said, it's really the land. Like I know a lot of people can give or take voice acting, but like if the land environments were more impressive, I think this game would have landed at an even higher rating for more people.
Yeah, I think like if they do another game like this, that like they should ask Nintendo's like, hey, can you call up Monolith Soft to like help us with this? Because like didn't Monolith Soft help with Breath of the Wild with their open world?
Soft helps with everything. Yeah. They need help. Like, hey, Monolith, come here, spice this game up for me real quick.
Yeah. But yeah, one thing I also do really like about this is that in previous Pokemon games, unless you are like EV training or shiny hunting or whatever, there isn't really, or breeding Pokemon, there isn't really much of a reason, if you don't care about any of those things, to catch multiple of the same Pokemon. Like I've never really did that because I'm like, oh, I just want to catch them all. I don't want to like catch multiple. Why would I want to do that? Of them. Yeah. But in this game, it's like, oh, there's a reason for that, and that's the research with the Pokedex. And it's not just catching Pokemon. Like you can either catch them, like there's certain ways of catching them, luring Pokemon, beating them in a battle or whatever. There's multiple ways to fill out this research, and that makes it feel much more varied in gameplay.
The quality of life that they've implemented into this game is so many like issues or like annoyances that like really now it's going to be hard to play a lot of proper Pokemon games. Like just being able to have access to all the moves a Pokemon can learn and
I
swapping
love
them
that.
out
It was
at a
like
moment's
when
notice.
I saw that, I was like, oh my god, why did they not think of this for 25 years?
It's so great. The fact that you can evolve when you're ready, when you meet the requirements. And then just like, completing each and getting to level 10 research on the individual Pokemon, the fact that it is so open to how you complete to get that level 10 per Pokemon. It's not like you have to do steps 1 through 10. It's literally you can do it this way. You can battle them. You can see this move. You can catch this many. You could see this one Pokemon do that in the wild.
Yeah, that's what I was
crazy.
Yeah, that's
it
what
makes it
about
fun and not a grind. Like the grind doesn't feel like a grind because of that. Everything can be unique and catered to how you want to play, and I think that is so much better for like going forward with Pokemon. I think it's such a better way, especially for doing this kind of style. Like I don't know if the next Legends game would be like, all right, now complete the new Pokedex and do all this again, but it's a really fun way of doing a lot of chore type tasks without making them feel like chores.
Yeah, that way, like, because in other Pokemon games, I was like, I don't want to go into the grass. I don't want to see Pokemon
exactly.
right now.
You
yeah, like
Pokemon.
where is this? This is like, oh, there's a Pokemon over there. I'll go catch it, or I'll go battle it, or whatever, because like I need it for the research. It gives that incentive, which I haven't really felt in other Pokemon games.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm truly surprised at how addicting it is because as a lifelong Pokemon fan, it's easy to get burnt out on Pokemon games, and this feels like a really nice refresh to the series. And I kind of had this thought that with how they structured this game, with adding technically a couple new Pokemon and then new variants of Pokemon, that this could basically get out of their trap of every 3 years having to create a new generation with a whole bunch of new Pokemon. If they did a one game like this a year instead of having like 2 different versions of it, and they were able to update and add new Pokemon this way and tell these new stories. I
still wouldn't want yearly Pokemon.
Oh no, we're still gonna get yearly Pokemon regardless in terms of whatever they want to release.
Whatever they want to release, but like I don't want like the same game every year. That's the thing.
No, I would if we're getting another Legends game, I would definitely think a 2 to 3 year cycle on that. Perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I don't want it to flood that feeling, and I do think that this game is going to have DLC to it, so I do think there will be a longer lifespan to this game throughout the year. And I think this is the biggest payoff that Nintendo was really hoping for with this, because contingency-wise, if this did not hit the mark, they're ready to go back, hit Generation 9, put out a Sword and Shield type game, But this felt like there's a reason why they said, all right, this other team, you go make Diamond and Pearl in the remakes. We're going to put all our efforts on this. And it shows that there's a lot, like, finally, like, the people, like, they changed character models for Pokemon. Like, they finally said, hey, we're making new character models. And, like, Flareon has a new tail, looks different. Ghastly has new gas behind it.
I love like, a lot of the subtle, like, animations that they have now, too.
Oh, they're great. Like the Mr. Mime just does like the Detective Pikachu sit in the middle of the air and pour a glass of nothing. Like it's stuff like it's really cool. They did a great job on all of that. And I think that's where it shines. And I understand why, because of crunch and all this other stuff, they had to get this game out. No delays. That's how the Pokemon works. They can't delay their stuff with all the other marketing. But you could tell like that's the reason we don't have the best looking environments, because they put all the time in the Pokemon and the story and a lot of other mechanics.
Yeah, hopefully for the next game it will look better.
I think they have the blueprint now. I think they're so close to hitting like that 10 out of 10 Pokemon game. So I hopefully think the next Legends game
if the next one is like Pokemon Legends, like based on Unova or whatever, like if they're doing like Gen 5 remake something, having like a Gen 5 type Legends game, I would be so excited because Gen 5 is my favorite generation.
That'd be crazy cool.
Yeah. But one thing I was seeing like on Twitter, somebody was posting about how like I was wondering like for the past couple of years if I was just falling out of love for Pokemon, but after like new Pokemon Snap and this game is like, no, I was just wanting just something different. which as far as like this game goes, this is for like people like me and Viva who have been sort of tired of like the past few Pokemon generations. Because like I played Pokemon X and Y. I played Sun and Moon, but it took me a long time to finish those games because after a while I was just kind of like going through the motions, and I was like, why am I playing this? So for this game, it's like, oh no, I'm very excited about this again, because of the gameplay loop feels good.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you're enjoying it. It's amazing how Pokemon's been so relevant for like ever since it started. It's never let up.
Yeah.
Like once.
Yep. It's weird that it's literally been here forever. Like in my life, I'm only a little bit older than its original,
Yeah,
coming out. So it's weird to me.
I love what Richard Brett says. Like, glad they used Pikachu's original cry. Yeah. I kind of hated that they went with the anime cry after they went 3D. I like their original cries. Yeah.
Isn't it weird that when we look back on Let's Go, and this is something that I didn't like about Let's Go, is like, oh, we're just catching the Pokemon, we're not battling them. And now here we are with Arceus, like, all I want to do is throw Pokeballs at him.
I was against the grain on that one. Like for that one with Let's Go, when I was playing Let's Go, I was like, oh, I kind of like just catching the Pokemon, because like that's one thing that kind of just felt like tedium to me, was like catching Pokemon, but like having their health go down, which you still do in this, but it feels more strategic, I think, because of that agile strong style. Is like, oh yeah, I can try to see if I can get it to exactly the health that I need.
Yeah.
And also just another thing that it feels like it's more difficult because of the fact that you have to craft your items, and go out and like find those materials for crafting your items. You can buy them, but like it's just like finding that material and crafting them yourself feels more convenient. Since it's like,
This
you don't have to spend any money.
Yeah, but you also can. Like they do have
Yeah,
you can do that, and this game can also be as easy or as hard as you want it to be, which is something that a lot of people struggle with in Pokemon. With it being just like, oh, Sword and Shield's too easy. These games are too easy. It's a cakewalk to get through them. This game can be hard if you wanted to, right from the jump, or you can kind of just very slowly level.
There was a point where I ran into a level 42 Scyther, while all my Pokemon were level 20. So yeah. Like you can run into like high level Pokemon like immediately.
Right away.
Yeah.
Right away. Yeah, the areas in the game are huge, and they only expand further. Like once you go back to the first area after you've unlocked all like the traversal Pokemon that help you, you can go and see so much more of the land that you couldn't see before with higher level Pokemon.
Right now, all I have is Weirdeer and Basculegion. Just the one for like just riding around on the deer, and then just like water travel. I don't have the other.
You don't have Ursaluna?
No, yeah, I have Ursaluna.
I think I thought Ursaluna was before Basculin.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have a few more, but like they change. Like once you have literally all of them, there's so much to do and so much to see. Like it's what's crazy.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Can't. So what's wrong with AK in the back street? Is it back street or back seat? I actually don't know.
In life, who knows?
Back street.
But yeah, Pokemon Legends. I would say like what I said before. Like, if you've been kind of like down on Pokemon for a while, like me or Viva, like this is the game I've been waiting for. It's a lot of fun. And also the reason Viva's not here is because she hasn't played it yet. She's been like doing the stuff with her JoJo video. So we might talk about it another time if it's ever on. But yeah, she hasn't played it yet. That's why she's not here. Because I asked her last night when we were playing Among Us.
Among Us is around still? Says the guy who still makes Among Us jokes in his videos 2022. I literally keep writing Among Us jokes into my videos, and I'm sorry.
Some
All
crimes
right.
can't be forgiven.
You know, it's about time. You know, I could use a vacation.
All right, that's it for review stuff. Let's talk about trailers and junk. First off, Cat Burglar. This is a thing on Netflix that is from the same creators of Black Mirror. But specifically, it's similar to Bandersnatch, which is that interactive Black Mirror thing where you could like choose what you were going to do in the episode.
I thought Bandersnatch was the guy who played Doctor Strange.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I like that.
Sorry.
But yeah, it's sort of like an interactive trivia like cartoon where while the cartoon is going on, you answer trivia, and whether you do bad or good, the character will win or mess up.
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, and it's kind of like Tex Avery Looney Tunes style, the way it looks. So I'm excited to try this out. Seems pretty neat.
Sounds cool. I like when they're trying new stuff with different mediums like that. That's cool.
Yeah. So if you liked like Bandersnatch, that was a very interesting thing that Netflix, the Black Mirror people.
Quite experimental. So it's cool to see them pushing that medium still.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Comes out February 22nd.
It's like Night Trap, but in modern day.
Yeah. Next we have another Netflix thing. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
My god.
Yeah, too bad Jax isn't here to talk about it.
Ugh. What a yikes.
Was it bad?
That's a bad trailer. I mean, listen, right from the jump, it's like we are unabashedly copying the Halloween reboot sequel. Like we are just copying the same story.
I just watched that last year. I was like, this seems very familiar.
It's literally like, hey, remember this is a direct sequel, and characters like, oh, remember 40 years ago when this happened?
Oh, there he is.
There's Jack.
There I am. I made it here just in time. Perfect timing. There we go. We're talking Leatherface.
But but the worst thing in that trailer is it like even as a joke, just to kill these characters, it pissed me off beyond belief that this was someone in a writing room said this is funny. We like this. Where
I'm not gonna lie, Jordan. That shit was so stupid and out of pocket. It made me laugh. I was just like, you did not go that way.
Leatherface
not do
walks onto a bus full of people. He's holding his chainsaw, and the one guy goes, they're all home with their phones out filming him. And he's like,
so
don't even try, bro. We'll cancel you. And they just kills him.
Just let the bodies hit the floor. Man, it's corny like
that is
fucking
exactly
Jason
what they
X's.
say.
No, that is exactly what they say. It's like literally, it's just like, we'll cancel you, bro. And first off, it's like 20 people, and Leatherface is an old man. And here's the thing: Leatherface doesn't have superpowers like Michael Myers. He's just a dude. So I'm sure, like after he killed like 2 people, you could have jumped his ass right then and there. But no.
Yeah,
no,
Jax,
him really would have taken him down. You know.
Yeah, Jax, yeah. I saw you on Twitter saying like, is like, this is even more confusing than the Halloween sequel because like there's already so many different direct sequels to the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes,
bro, there's so many.
No, there's so many. So let's break this down, okay? So when you watch original 1974 Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you're like, okay, that was Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Then you see Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and it's just like, okay, direct sequel. There we go. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 to first one. Not as good as the first one, but what can beat that? It was very iconic. Then we go to Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, and it's like, okay, who is this new family? Who are these new people? Why is he looking like this? What is going on here? Like, what the fuck? And then it's just like, oh, this was a direct sequel as well. Oh, okay. Then we go to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, A New Generation. Completely new family again. New Leatherface is dressed up in a full woman's like outfit, like compared to just a mask, it's like a full woman's outfit. The Illuminati is in this fucking movie, and it's just like, what the fuck? So they probably have something to do with all the sequels. Then I thought, now here's something that I did not know for a long period of time. Okay, so since Scream 5 mentioned this, the whole thing about requels, okay? I thought for years there was an unwritten rule that like once you like reboot a movie, you can't do like a sequel to the original, but now we have requels every year, so it's just like, oh, you can't do that because like we have the two.
Let's do it again.
Yeah, exactly. So we had the freaking 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre and 2006 also
the 3D one.
The beginning one as well. That was a prequel to the 2003 one. But they were like, nah, fuck it. No one likes Thomas Hewitt. Let's go back to the original. Oh, yeah, and like Jordan just said, we had the 3D one because 3D was a big gimmick in the early 2010s. It was just like in every fucking thing. And it's like, okay, this is direct sequel. And then Leatherface becomes a good guy at the end and he gets with his hot ass cousin. And he's like, and she's keeping him like as a pet. And it's like, oh, that's interesting. Then we have Leatherface, this 2017 movie, which is basically it's the prequel of how Leatherface became this way. Again, different fucking family. No relation to the other one, but they're trying to say it's a prequel to like the fucking 1974 film when none of the family members are there. Leatherface is like this scrawny guy, and then like he like for the whole movie they fake you out thinking it's this one big dude, and then turns out to be the skinny guy who gets his face blown off. But Leatherface never had his face blown off. Like he was just like in the original he was mentally handicapped, and then the 2003 one was the one that was deformed. And so now we have this fucking movie, which is fucking like a direct sequel, pulling a Halloween 2018 to the original. It's just like, because with Michael Myers, I'll tell you, no, okay, so I'm going to pull Aviva and go like depth with these fucking like movies or shit like that. Okay, so like with Halloween, right? All right, with Halloween, you have a different storyline. It's like those choose your own adventure books where you like, you can choose the path you want to go. So with Halloween, it was, you can watch Halloween, Halloween 2, and then like, you know, take a break and watch Halloween 4. And then because Halloween 3 was its own thing because they wanted to try and make it an anthology, but they did 2 movies in a row with Michael Myers. So that was a stupid idea. But Halloween 3 is actually underrated in my opinion. And so they have, yes, season of the way. Happy Halloween, silver shimmer. That shit was funny. Then we have Halloween 4, Halloween 5, Halloween 6. That's Curse of Thorn, bullshit, whatever. All right, that's that storyline. But then they were like, no, we want to have another storyline. H2O, fucking H2O. My man George says it, and it's just like, oh no, what you're gonna do now is you're gonna watch Halloween 2, then you're gonna go skip the other ones and go to Halloween H2O, and then after that, Halloween Resurrection, and then that series was done, and it was done. It was just like, okay, yeah, that series done. Then we had the Rob Zombie reboots, 2007, 2009. And then it was like, oh, I guess that was what happened to Michael Myers. But then, like, so many years later, they're like, oh, no, we're going to do a direct sequel to the first one. A requel, as they freaking coined it. And they're going to be like, oh, no, ignore the other ones. She's not his sister. This is just a direct continuation of this film, which is now stupid because now there are 3 films called Halloween. You have like Halloween like 1970 this and Halloween freaking 2007 and Halloween 2018. It's just like, what the fuck? So it's just like, why? And this is just called Texas Chainsaw Massacre again. So I fucking hate when they do it. Just leave the numbers. Like fucking James, AVGN said this back in 2006. Just leave the shit numbered, but they do it because like, oh, I don't know if I saw the first movie. Oh, that's why it's called Halloween Kills, not Halloween 2, because Halloween 2 is just, it's ridiculous. But yeah, I'm sorry. Jordan, go ahead. I'm tagging you in, Jordan. Go.
I mean, you said it best. At what point do they, like, I understand, like, this is a franchise and they have to make a new one every so often, but at what point do you just cut your losses and go, we have tried 17 fucking times and nothing is happening. We cannot make a good film that captures the original. Right. We cannot do it. And I think at some point the studio needs to, either this is just a tax write-off for them to go, oh, well, here's our every couple year Leatherface, Texas, whatever this year, whatever we want to call it, and they just throw it out there. They make like this film, this looks so cheap. Like it looks like it's in this small fake construction desert town, right? And it honestly is, because that's like the set work, and that's all it looks like. And it looks like they just hired a few people, and that's it. And they got one person to go, oh, 40 years ago, man, this is crazy. Can you remember 40 years ago? It's like, no, because the people who are going to watch this are 26, and they're going to go, wow, that was bad. Anyway, back to my date who I'm watching this with. Like, this is a film that this is background noise. This is a film that you turn on, and you either, if you're actually into it, you'll probably turn off, or it's just playing while you're doing other things. Because when it comes to horror, you either there's very rarely in that middle line of like, that was an okay film. It's either, wow, that's a good horror film, or wow, that was the worst thing I've ever seen. And a lot of them always fall into that because it's a very cheap genre to make, and no one tries to do anything new. They feel it's always the same ghost story. It's always the same murderer story. It's always the same serial killer story. And when you get these new ones, they feel so much better than they are because it's refreshing to get something so cool. Like when The Conjuring came out, and it was like, whoa, you can actually make a really scary filled tension movie. And then there's like, okay, now we got to milk it all and put 17 spin-off movies and do all this and that. But like just that first, even the second Conjuring movie, when you have Juan behind the camera, even if you don't like all of his films, he at least, I'll give him the credit, does something new and unique with the way he makes his films. And he doesn't base the tension off jump scares or gimmicks. He bases it off you feeling the moment and the tension building up to it. And that's what makes it so special and fun. If you're making a serial killer thing, rely on the serial killer thing. We don't need to have, oh, jump scare, he was standing at the door the whole time. Jump scare, he came down the stair. It's so, like, you watch Halloween, right? And you're like, this is a great movie. And then you watch every other Halloween movie and you go, what did they change? Tell me, what did they change? It's the same character doing the same thing. The only person who dared, and whether you like them or not, the only person who dared to try and do something different with the character is Rob Zombie. It'd be like, all right, give him a backstory. Why is he like this? Let's find out who he is. And it's like, not that, again, you may not like those films because I don't think everything needs to have an explanation backstory.
Half of it. I like the first half of the unedited 2007 because it was like because the only way you can get it like on DVD now is just get the unrated version with that stupid one scene which is like assault, and it's just like, what the fuck. It was way cooler when he broke out like the fucking Hulk and he was just like, I'm fucking like ragdolling all these people. Like the original outclasses it and always will, but there's like some scenes I'm like, oh wow, that was actually interesting. I like how I like Tyler Maine's physicality, because like one thing to me is like Michael Myers, like one of the things I find so fucking hilarious about the Halloween franchise is how they blatantly fucking lied about like how Michael Myers was in the 2018 film, because like when they were starting those films back up, there was always this like supernatural air to Michael Myers that he was like, oh, Michael Myers is like pure evil, he's a supernatural being and stuff like that. And then the way they had it in interviews were like, yeah, we're doing this so it's more realistic. All right, so the thing about Michael Myers is I think like when you turn him into like a spirit and stuff like that, I can't relate to the situation, but if you make it just like a guy who's like strong and stuff like that, I think that's just way more horrifying. And then the end of the second movie, that fucking fool, that I don't give a fuck. He is not. There is no fucking way he is not fucking like.
That's
and then
the problem with writers today, though. It's like I don't have to relate to the villain. You don't have to always empathize. Like if you're just giving me a pure evil, like that's okay, because that's why a lot of horror, like it's the mystery of the unknown, right? When you have the first Paranormal Activity and you don't know anything about what's going on. That's why that film works. But when you get to the 5th or 6th or even 7th film that was on Paramount Plus, when they're explaining about the demon dimension and who the ghosts are,
the demon dimension,
it literally loses. It literally loses the horror aspect. When you have like the first three Paranormal Activity films do a really good job at giving you little information and just giving you scares, whether you think they're cheap or not. It's all about being scared. The first one is an absolutely terrifying indie film. That was made on a shoestring budget, and it's scarier than half the crap Hollywood puts out in the last 2 decades, bar none. And it blows my mind that an indie film with people who are hungry to make something before Hollywood said, all right, let's make 7 of them. So, like, that's a good example. But, like, it just irks me with the writers how it's always like trying to have to rewrite and change it and do this and do that. It's like there's a formula that can work for this, but you're trying to create a formula that prints money. And I get the Hollywood. I get that. I 100% understand it. But at this point where Netflix is just willy-nilly throwing out their money to get whatever they can on their streaming platforms, it's very rare. Like it's like you get a handful of creators who are making it truly like passion projects on Netflix because they're giving them carte blanche with their money. And then you have just a handful of like scraps. And this feels like it's on the scraps team, because for every one good Netflix film that's like only on Netflix, there is 7 million crap films on Netflix. And that's why, wow, we have so much to watch. but where's the quality at? And if you're a fan of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in any capacity, this does not look like it's doing it any sort of service for the franchise and the recognition. Because everyone knows the name Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Everyone knows who Leatherface is.
Yeah.
But when you only have like one true good movie, like one incredible film, and then there's like 17 other ones, why do we only know the name because they just keep spitting these out? It's like the Amityville horror. How many times can Amityville have the same horror?
Right,
Like,
exactly.
Move on. Like, do something different. Doesn't have to be the same story. Doesn't have to replace the actors and now make it half a comedy. Like, just do something original with similar stories. You can take Leatherface. You could take a Texas Chainsaw movie and make a brand new re-envision. You can make a sequel that doesn't have to rely on, hey, look, remember the original? Oh, remember this character? Remember that storyline? It doesn't always have to be like that. And every film right now, every franchise is chasing that same imagined dragon that they're like, oh, I gotta get that.
Imagine
Get
Dragons.
No, but, no, it's true though, because there was I was listening to a podcast of like Double Toasted. They were like, I think they talked about this like a couple weeks ago, but it was like on the whole Scream thing, what they were talking about. Like we're at this point now where for years we wanted to see things made by the fans. Like we wanted to see like stuff made by fans because they would understand the lore, they know how to do it. But now it's, instead of being a thing where it is more like, oh, we're getting all this stuff done, it's more like, oh, but you remember this? Like they're such fans of the entire product that it's just like, oh, but I remember this thing, and this thing will give me a nostalgia boner, and this thing will give me a nostalgia boner, and this thing will give me a nostalgia boner. And it's just like, okay, write a fucking story and go about it. Like there are ways to do reboots that are effective. Like freaking the DuckTales 2017 reboot is fucking masterclass of how to do a reboot. Like freaking My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, masterclass how to do reboot. Stuff like that. There are like ways to do reboots without just being, or reboots or requels or sequels or whatever you want to call it, that people who are fans of the fans of the original product can go like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to let my fandom overlap that. I'm still going to tell a good story, because like the whole thing is like, oh, I know everything about this, but I haven't studied anything else. So I don't know how to I can't bring more to this. I just know how to like repeat, reiterate, and rewash the same thing over and over because it's what I liked, but I haven't learned how to do other things. And that's a major problem in like a lot of things these days.
If we could just take that risk a little bit more, like even if it's not a direction that I or you may agree with, but it works and it's something new. Like, for example, right? Teen Titans. And I'm only bringing this up because I'm working on a video about Teen Titans. But like, Teen Titans is incredible. I love the original Teen Titans so much, right?
Hell yeah.
And when they came back as Teen Titans Go, they really said, hey, we're doing something different with the IP. And whether you like that show or not, I was clearly, with how long that show's going on and having 2 movies and all this other stuff, it is more popular. It is more popular than the original Teen Titans. That is not a statement that is like, oh no, you're just being hyper. No, it is a bigger show. It has lasted longer, has more attention, has more people watching. It's the SpongeBob of Cartoon Network. That is the biggest thing they've ever put together. And the original show, in my eyes, is incredible. And that's my Teen Titans. But I cannot discredit Go it's not like I give it really a fair shot. I saw it, I'm like, oh, that's not what I wanted, but whatever. It worked. They said, hey, we'll try something new, and it stuck with an audience, and there's going to be a generation of kids who are now growing up. We're going to look back fondly on that and not the original saying, oh yeah, Go's better. I grew up with Go. And that's that's taking that risk. That's changing something up. Whether you agree with it or not, it still hit that mark, and they weren't afraid to change it. But it seems like too many, franchises, ideas, concepts, IPs are too scared to fall away from the formula because they think, oh, if we make the same thing over and over again, that's how we continue to get the money.
Mm-hmm.
So
Star Wars. Yeah.
Literally. And I was on a long phone call ranting about some Star Wars stuff earlier. So exactly. There's levels to this, and it's not just like it's a very nuanced topic, but I'm sad that we can't see some innovation in properties, even if it turns out that I don't like it, right? At least you're trying something different, because here you tried something that's not different and I still don't like it, and I haven't even seen it yet.
Right.
That's the problem.
No, that is
we should move on.
Yeah,
No,
sorry.
Paleo, this
Like,
is the entire
yeah.
podcast now. The Jordans are taking over. All right, this is a double J, and you're the one J that's keeping us behind. Okay.
It's been like 30 minutes.
I'm sorry. I'm really heated about my
I
Lego.
like Star. No, I don't. No, actually, I like the Mandalorian.
Is Saber back?
No, he's pooping. Okay,
Remember,
so
when
anyways.
remember when the Boba Fett show said, "Hey, what if we just made it the Mandalorian again?"
Yeah, and it was the best episode of the
I
series.
haven't
was
watched.
so
and
good.
I haven't watched any episodes yet.
Dude,
Oh,
that
well.
show is so pointless, and they give
It
you
is
one
so
really good
bad,
episode, and
Paleo.
it's like, wow,
Paleo,
why are you
Paleo,
using
deadass-
Mandalorian season 3?
you know, literally, Paleo, just watch episode 5 and on, and then like if you want to go watch the episodes prior, but literally, episode 5 is just the Mandalorian, like dead ass. Boba's not even in it.
Yeah, all right.
So yeah, it was a good episode too, and like literally, you could watch it without having any context. Like I mean, something happens at the end that's been like building up to it, but like literally the entire episode is like if you watch the end of Mandalorian season 2 and then went right to Boba Fett season episode 5, you would be like, oh, this takes off perfectly.
Yeah, it's incredible, and it blows my mind that it's just so weird that they slotted. It feels like they knew they had nothing and they had to make this, and
Yeah.
I'm glad that they made it so well. There's a 2-minute tracking shot that's really impressive. It's really, really cool, and that's the best part of the show so far. Is
It really
non-Boba
is,
Fett.
and he keeps his fucking mask on. Okay.
All right. Next thing. So Disenchantment. That
I don't
show.
know what that bullshit is.
Yeah.
That shit's still going on.
Yeah, the
Coming
part
back.
4. Part 4 is coming back February 9th. So like.
No, is that chick
next
with the
week.
big boobs still in it? I kept seeing her picture all over Netflix. I didn't watch the show, but like I saw
What,
that.
Bean's mom?
Is that her name? Beans? Is that her fucking
Yeah,
name?
yeah.
Shut the fuck up. No, it's not.
Princess Bean. Like, yeah, her name's Bean. Like the main character.
Shut the fuck. You're lying. I'm Googling
No, that's her
this.
name.
I'm Googling this right now.
I don't like
It's
the character design, honestly.
Princess Bean.
Like, forget the name. I just don't like the look. Actually, take it. Bean has some more interest in knowing her name's Bean.
Yeah, like.
Stupid.
Yeah,
The same people who made Futurama, right?
Yeah, it's Matt Groening.
Yeah,
It's Matt Groening's
the
Netflix
Simpsons.
show.
Why can't we just have more Futurama? That's why.
Do we need, Futurama ended pretty well though.
It ended perfectly,
Mm.
but I still want more Futurama.
See, no, so Jordan, to mention that, because I with this thing right now where if I watch a show and the show is like really good, like for like too long, I start getting nervous. So like, oh please, don't fall
Skip
downhill.
ahead.
I've seen too many shows go downhill, and so like when a show has a perfect ending, and then like they're talking about bringing it back, I'm just like, but will it be as good? Oh fuck no! I'm like, it's just like you can just stay asleep. Just stay asleep.
Yeah. But
Princess
yeah, new season's coming next week. I've kept up with it. It's like all right. It's like it's no.
See, it's all right.
Yeah, it's
know
all
what
right.
paleo means?
It's no Futurama. I would say that.
See, you know what paleo means when he says all right? That means it's bullshit. All right, because paleo is really invested in something.
No,
he's like,
no.
yo, it's good. No,
No,
he would say,
if it's bad, I will say it's bad. Like it's not a
Yeah,
bad
but-
show.
Bad?
Yeah, but paleo, you have like this tone when we talk about shows. I'm like, oh, is this a good show? It's like it's all right, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be terrible. And then like if you say like the show is like fucking like awful, then it's like, oh god, that's off. Like that's terrible. But like if you say a show is like, oh, it's good, then it's like, okay, it's an okay show. But if you say a show is, oh, that show is really good, like Adventure Time, it's like, oh fuck yeah, Adventure Time's great, it's goated, shit like that. So I know you. I've known you for over a decade now, boy. So I can say I picked up on your toe. It's okay.
Has Princess Bean in it, so that's cool.
Yeah, Princess Bean.
Bean.
All right. Saber back yet?
I'm back.
Yeah.
Okay, because the
Welcome
next thing we're gonna talk about is the Halo trailer. Just came out
Oh boy,
yesterday.
Twitter was fun about this, huh?
I was really just knew that Twitter would be very okay about this, right?
Yeah,
of course.
I'm gonna start off with the positives. Chief looks great.
You know what's funny
Yeah.
about him
Yeah.
looking great is like I couldn't tell if it was like because
yeah. With this screenshot here of like him in the helmet and everything, he's like, oh, is that the game or the show?
Yeah,
like,
I can't tell. I couldn't tell at all if that was a game or not. But then, like,
Yeah.
I saw the real life people. I was like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah, and also like we got a first look at what the Covenant aliens look like with the close up of the Elite. I think the Elites look great.
Looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The budget in this show looks like Paramount said, all right, we're going to put all of our money for our streaming service in this show. It looks really good. And I think that's cool. I do think Halo's a very weird show to be serialized, but I'm optimistic because I know that there's been so many attempts at making this thing work, from movies to now the actual show being a real thing that comes out in 2 months.
Dude,
It's weird. And can I just say this about the Cortana thing, which everyone was freaking out about? That's the same actor who's always played Cortana for like the last forever, it feels like.
So
Like,
why
that's
couldn't they
the
get
same
Steven Downs?
Good question. But like for this, like everyone's like, who's this Cortana? I'm like, it's the same voice. All they have to do is maybe make her a little bit more blue. But like, it's the same voice. It's the same look. What do you want? Like, it doesn't look as bad as a animation did years ago. It looks like a real human because now it is. So I don't know what people want from Cortana. I would understand if you just make it a little more blue and a little see-through. But that's Cortana. Why is everyone yelling about Cortana?
Yeah.
Someone tell me. I don't know. Everyone's yelling about it's not like Cortana. I'm like, it literally is your Cortana. That's Cortana.
He's got them there.
I checked IMDb. It's her.
Yeah, but they because they boil it down to very few bullet points, and it's she's naked with a big old blue boobies.
Not enough blue boobs.
Where's my bluebies?
I want to go watch Avatar.
Right. Oh, they aren't that big enough. Either.
Well, they were blue at least.
Another complaint of mine for the movie, but so yeah, I was generous. I feel like for me, like it's that quote from Incredibles with Syndrome where he's like, too late, 20 years too late or something, where it's like where I'm like, okay, I'm making a Halo thing. And like I remember when I used to like go on YouTube looking for like these clips from some studio that made like a showcase of like ODSTs fighting brutes and had a warthog, and I'm like, oh my god, the Halo movie. It's gonna have J.J. Abrams or Neil Blomkamp directing it. It's so cool. Never happened. And throughout, like after Halo 3, there was this just drumming out of my disinterest for the Halo franchise, where it's like Halo Reach, yeah, Halo ODST, which came out before Reach, yay. But then Halo 4 was the beginning of the end, where I'm like, this is starting to feel different. And of course, Bungie exiting.
I hate 343's generation of Halo so far.
Well, it's tough because like Halo 1 through 3 is like narrative wise, like fucking amazing, like outstanding. I love the Halo story for Halo 1 through 3.
Oh, I absolutely agree.
It is fantastic. And I feel like the problem is it was too good and there's no way you can really recapture that. And
you can try.
You can. I mean, it's a big universe, so maybe it might be the same thing as Star Wars, where it's like, how do we get off the bullet points without like disengaging our audience? Though I feel like Star Wars is it's fantasy sci-fi versus Halo, which is just sci-fi. So I don't know. I looked at the trailer. And I'm like, looks. I mean, the Halo, man. I look at Chief's armor and I'm like, am I at a convention? And that's not a slight at his armor not looking good. It looks great. But it's also a testament that conventions have got some pretty
No. Saber, can I agree with you 100% though. Like when I saw his armor, like it looks great. It looks phenomenal, but there's something about it that like when I was expecting a Halo show, I expected it to look more like metallic in a way that it looked like real like metal or something. I don't know how to explain it. It looks like a really badass cosplay, but not like, oh, I can take a shot or something like that. Like I don't know how to explain it. I'm not an armor or whatever they're called.
No, it looks too shiny to me.
Yeah.
And the elites look great. Cortana, I think the problem with it, Jordan, is I think she might look a little bit too uncanny, where it's like teeth. And maybe it's
like
the juxtaposition.
that was my problem. Is like she's real, but she looks real, but not real. It's
like the elite.
Isn't she a hologram though in the games?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. If you would have made her blue, like in the game, and then translucent a little bit,
yeah.
I would see no problem. But to have the full coloration and not really that translucent, I'm like, all right, like I understand that, but it's still like literally Cortana.
I mean, because I think like
literally Cortana.
since I've only played Halo 1 and 2, so I have like that I played those two like back to back. I haven't played the other ones. But like with Cortana, that thing like it didn't bother me per se because like I knew she was a hologram and she's not supposed to look like human. She's just supposed to be like CGI. So like for me personally, it didn't bother me when I saw that. So that's
Well, and maybe I need to watch the series. I need to see what the story is like. Because at this point, I'm like, it's a bit jarring with not hearing John or
Steve Downs.
not hearing his voice was a bit jarring. But it's
Yeah,
forgivable.
that's gonna take a while to get used to.
Yeah.
But also like I feel like the Halo franchise has been supremely fumbled ever since Bungie left, and it's a shame.
Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah,
Well,
dude,
you see,
yeah.
well, you see effort, you really do, but it's like something magical was lost, and for the series here, I'm like I'll check it out because I love Halo, but I think the damage has been done where I just have so much doubt for the Halo series, whether it be the games, movies, or whatever. Like if someone said like, "Hey, this entire series is animated," like I'd be like, "Oh, okay." Like
And they've done
I'm
good
here.
animated stuff before,
Right.
you know?
Halo Legends is like the Animatrix. Well, I think the
Yeah.
Animatrix is better, but like the showcasing of animation, like there's that entire Spartan 1337, like I think it was done by Toei, and which by the way,
Toei, fuck them.
But I was like, this looks great. I would watch a Halo anime or animated series, but this live action one, I feel like the quality's there, but not enough to make it feels like cosplay, and it's not a slight to the craftsmanship. It's just maybe I'm just been surrounded by conventions with great cosplayers, and now I can't distinguish the two. Whatever.
No, because what you're saying is like, because I agree with what you're talking about with the whole cosplay thing. Because like, for instance, what the fuck did they call? Batfleck. A lot of people love Batfleck's costume. I never liked it because it just looks like it looks like a badass cosplay, but it looks too stiff. It looks like, oh wow, this is someone did this in live action, and it's like, oh wow, if I saw the convention, it's awesome. But in the movies, I was always like, yeah, this is not beating Christian Bale's thing at all. Like it doesn't look that great. But like, yeah, I don't know what they would need to do to fix the armor, but yeah, I completely understand.
I think that's all fair criticism. You know, I think I'm just excited. Like, look, this could suck. This could be really bad. It could be a disaster. But the fact that it's a real thing blows my mind, because this goes back to like the early 2000s of being like, oh, did you hear about they're going to do a Halo movie? They're going to do a Halo this.
Right.
And it just never happened. And that footage leaked. And you're like, wow, that's cool. But then it never happened. And like the story of it finally like going through everything it went to finally be a real thing is pretty cool, I will say, because I remember when this was going to be like, oh, it's going to be a Showtime show, and that never happened. And now it's a Paramount show, and it's actually happening. But like, just like with Neil Blomkamp's whole thing with how what's the other director, Peter what was he did why am I blanking on his name?
Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson, right? So I'm pretty sure. So it was him who they wanted to make the Halo movie, right? Yeah. And he was like, all right, well, I want to have, I want to produce it. And I'm going to have this up and comer who hasn't done anything yet, Neil Blomkamp, do it. And they're like, no, we're not going to give him that crazy budget. That's ridiculous. That's stupid. Absolutely not. So they canned it. And then District 9 came out and it was incredible on a nothing budget. Yeah. And it's like, you could have had someone at his prime for like cheap make something look so good back then. And you know, Neil Blomkamp's movies,
it's amazing.
Dude, it's incredible. It's incredible. And you know, say what you want about his other films, some of them are fun, some of them are not, but his technical work and what he's able to do on shoestring budgets is incredible.
Like, yeah, I do not like Chappie at all, but the CG in that looks incredible.
Mind-blowing. There's a point in Elysium. I remember when I saw Elysium in theaters, and there's a point where a face gets blown up, and then they show it in like almost looks like claymation, putting the face back together and reconstructing it from like brain matter to a whole face. And it is the coolest effect, I swear. And it's like, it's like when I feel innovators in the industry, Neil Blomkamp's one of them. Even if his films don't hit the mark with everyone, he was a good person to really do something incredible with Halo. I could have trusted him and been like, all right, do something interesting and cool with it. This feels fine. It feels by the books from the trailer. Like, his story. There's gonna be some drama.
We gotta have the weird alien dresses that the women dress in.
Yeah, that was
what is with that?
That's the signature sci-fi weird alien dress.
Yeah,
but it's fine. It's fine. Who knows? The trailer's fine. I don't get the big uproar on Twitter. I get having criticisms. I don't think it deserved to be like as big of like an issue it felt like on Twitter, but that's also Twitter. Twitter makes everything an issue.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, you can sneeze and it's like you sneezed at your home by yourself. You got to wear a mask. It's like, hey, sorry, you didn't even do anything. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna catch it through the computer now at home, even though I haven't left and gone anywhere in months. Yeah, so yeah, whatever. It's fine. I'm fine with it.
It comes out. Let's see, when was it? Yeah, March 24th. So it's next month. We'll see then. How it is.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I removed a few things, so we're gonna try to go through. Next thing, Netflix is doing another He-Man thing.
Wow, that's 3 in a fucking row. Jeez.
Yeah, they're gonna do a live action He-Man.
A TV series or a movie?
Okay, who's playing it? Is it The Rock?
Kyle Allen. Kyle.
There's
Allen.
no one who matches Tim Allen.
No, it's Terry Crews.
Tim Allen's
no, Kyle Allen. He was in the recent West Side Story remake.
But does he have that kind of physicality? Because The Rock is the only person I know alive who has that body type.
Or John Cena.
I don't know.
No, John Cena is not as wide as The Rock.
John Cena has abs. Rock
no, I give you that. I just started watching Peacemaker. John Cena is fit as heck, but no one has those broad shoulders like The Rock.
I'm trying to think. I know there's some WWE, like that big guy from The Longest Yard. A giant dude.
Let's just get Adam Sandler to play He-Man.
No, Prince Adam. See,
see? Now we're talking. Netflix, you have access to him. Netflix.
Oh, leave me alone, Skeletor. Whatever.
Skeletor's Kevin James.
But yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, yeah. Technically, She-Ra's like part of the He-Man universe or what, right? So,
so there's 4.
Yeah. So like, Netflix has been like doing so many different He-Man things.
Really like using their properties.
It's so funny because it's just like, okay, so She-Ra for the most part, like a lot of people like it, but then a lot of people like, see that it has issues and stuff like that. And then there's the more adult Masters of the Universe where it was like the Teela show, and then that just made like a lot of people mad. But then the Tequila show. You mean Skeletor was drinking shit like that? Yeah. That show, like, I think people are coming around on it because they didn't kill off He-Man, so that was good. And then like there's that CGI He-Man show, which a lot of people are. No, a lot of people like that. A lot of people surprisingly like that. So I'm curious at what they're doing with this movie. Like, okay, real talk though. Like, how are they going to do the body? Because it's not like we don't have any like 80s action heroes where everyone's like juiced up to the fucking gills and shit like that. So
Arnold could have played this character.
Arnold easily.
Arnold would have been a great He-Man.
Dolph Lundgren played him once. He could play him again or some shit like that. Just CGI his body or something like that. I don't know.
We have the technology now, so
yeah, we could. Yeah, we do have the technology. We also have testosterone. So so that we can.
Ooh, yeah, we got that.
Yeah, so I'm interested. I'm very interested. But
who's directing this? That's where my question lies. Who's making this movie?
Because I know the character, the guy's playing him. It's Kyle Allen, but
Barry Allen.
Barry Allen, the fastest man alive.
The Nee brothers.
The who?
The Nee brothers.
The Wachowski brothers. Oh,
No,
well, you saw what they did with the Matrix.
The Nee brothers, like NEE.
Oh wow!
They
So who's
did,
following? The Ankle Sisters are helping too. Like they producing. Okay.
The Ankle Sisters. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah. Moving on. Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
There's a sequel. That's gonna be made,
What-
and
For the animated one or the movie?
the movie.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that's cool.
The
That's-
live action movie. And it's going to be.
Sorry, guys. Be right back.
And it's going to be written by the same guy who's doing Moon Knight.
Ooh.
That sounds good. I have hopes for this sequel.
Yeah, I have hope for this sequel too, because the first one is called Mortal Kombat, and there's no fucking tournament. So it's like, what the fuck
Right.
was?
Yeah, like, what is the tournament?
There's some cool special effects, a couple really cool fights, but it left a lot to be desired.
It really did. Like honestly,
I really hope that this next one's good.
same. Like I really hope they get everything down because there's so. I mean, like of course they're gonna bring back to life the characters they did because they do that every fucking game. So they'll just do it in the movie. So
we get to the tournament, they'll resurrect them. It'll be fine.
Yeah, there's Goro, there's Kentaro, there's Motaro. You got those three. All right, there's fucking
Jotaro.
Yeah, Jotaro in the corner. There's Dio, whatever. Yeah. Oh no, I hope it's good because there were aspects of the first movie I found enjoyable, but there's a lot of stuff like I guess like when you rewatch it, like again, it's just like there's so much issues with it. Like the whole way of how Jax got his fucking arms. I'm just like, that is so stupid. You could have done that a way better way. And then like there are just so many other things that just happen. So hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's good.
And
then
I can't remember.
Scorpion's barely in the fucking movie. What the fuck?
Do we actually see Johnny Cage at the end of the last movie? I can't remember.
No. They like hint that they're gonna go get him.
Okay, because
yeah.
how
There's
funny
like,
would it
there's
be
like
if we
a
got
poster or
Nicolas
something,
Cage?
I think.
I want Nicolas
Yeah.
Cage to play Johnny Cage
Nicolas Cage with Johnny Cage.
because
Whoa.
he would have that like, hey, I'm gonna kick your ass. Like, dude, I would love to see that. Like, give me the Nicolas Cage from like Ghost Rider 2.
Ghost Rider with the fake abs, the CGI abs they put on him. Shit like
like
that.
My favorite scene is the pissing fire scene of Ghost Rider. Like, that is ridiculously funny to me.
Oh yeah, from the sequel. Yeah, that was good.
That second movie, say what you want. That is the most adrenaline filled because it's the same creators did the Crank movies. It is
Right.
so fast paced, bizarre, and crazy with the most ridiculous camera shots. Like I can't help but enjoy how bad it is. It's so much fun.
right.
Wow.
Give me that Nicolas Cage again.
Yeah.
Next, let's talk about so Jason Momoa. He's going to be in Fast 10.
Oh, fast
Rock.
10-year seatbelts. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Yeah, I remember. I was like, I can't remember which. I think it was like Fast 5 or Fast 6 was out. And I said, what are they going to call the 8th one? The Fate of the Furious, and that actually was
Right.
the name of
Yeah,
it.
they actually did that.
And I would not be surprised if people making the fasten your seatbelts jokes, if that's actually the
Yeah.
title of this damn movie at this point.
The thing is, like, the 10th movie is going to be 2 movies. They're doing 2 parts.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
they always do that.
Yeah.
They always do. So is it like the final one of the series?
Supposedly,
be-
if it's going
Yeah.
to be 2 movies, then they're gonna try to go all out. They've already gone to space. What else can they do?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's
No,
weird 'cause
they're
they went to
dinosaurs.
space, but
Jurassic
they didn't.
Park.
Dude, I
Oh,
swear, like
yeah.
I know they've even producers were like, yeah, that would be fun. It's like, please, if you ruin anything on Jurassic Park, I will come to your house and politely complain. All right,
Yeah.
because that is so ridiculous. Like, hey, if you're gonna get the Velociraptors, whatever, keep them in like, don't bring them into the Jurassic movies. Keep them in your Fast movie. All right, don't try to be like, oh, I'm watching Dominion, Jurassic World Dominion. All of a sudden, Vin Diesel pops out of the bush riding a raptor, going family. Like, I don't want that. It's about family and raptors. They go fast. Like, look at my new Raptor. Got a turbo engine, V-charged, 8 cylinders, pretty great family. Like, it's like, no, don't give me that.
Yeah, exactly. It's just
Who knows what's going to happen at this point? We've been to space. We've
Well,
done...
Jason Momoa is in it, so like they're just gonna get an Aquaman. Like
Oh, finally.
they'll work with Warner Brothers. Like,
yeah,
Yeah, they'll play
they're good.
ball.
Aquaman in there. Like, what if he comes out of the sea? It's just like, let's ride.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's just the perfect line. You just have to keep saying the same.
I don't understand why they couldn't. I mean, Transformers too. I know that's a different studio, but like, Jake, you should have worked out a deal with them. Okay, like that would have been. It's right there. Come on, that is right there. People, Transformers, and this series is crazy. Come on, Blue. You got to prepare for family. Let's go get them.
And just Velociraptor noises.
Yeah.
And it's just like fucking. No, what if at the end of Dominion, when the dragon shows up, and then Vin Diesel comes out the bush, it's just like, hey, don't worry, Jeff Goldblum. I mean, Ian, I got this. And he fucking just drives over and he like smacks it with his car.
Is that Chris Pratt from the Mario movie? I heard you're really cool.
I heard you're really cool. Yo.
But I know you can train raptors fast, but can you ride them fast?
And then he looks at like a tree and he's like, oh, looks familiar. Because he's Groot. Some shit like that.
Yeah, when's the Vin Diesel verse happening? I'm ready for it. I'm Triple X.
Triple X. Vandal Savage. Whatever, not Vandal Savage. That's fucking something else. Whatever his fucking name is.
Xander Cage.
Xander Cage, yeah.
You don't remember the third movie, Return of Xander Cage?
Yeah, because the second movie had Ice Cube, and then they were like, fuck Ice Cube. And then they were like, fucking.
Dude, the second movie's so ridiculous. I love it.
So silly.
All right. Last two things before we go into Q&A. American McGee's Alice is going to be adapted into a TV show.
Okay.
Which sounds interesting. And it's going to be written by David Hayter, who did the X-Men movies.
Oh.
David Hayter?
Yeah. The original voice of Solid Snake. Yeah, I'm about that. I mean, I played the game. I haven't read or know a lot more of the source material behind that, but just based off the game, that could be really trippy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, true, but like the twisted version of it.
Yeah, the twisted version of Alice in Wonderland. Yeah, the already twisted. Yeah.
Yeah, the double twisted. Double toasted.
Double twisted.
But yeah,
I'm back, but sorry, what were we talking about?
We're talking about
how Vin Diesel is going to show up in Jurassic World Dominion. And he's going to fucking like fight Blue with the T-Rex, and then like when the dragon shows, he's just going to fuck him up.
We're talking about American McGee's Alice is being adapted into a TV show, which American McGee's Alice, for those of you who don't know, it is the darker version of Alice in Wonderland, pretty much. And there's a couple of
that video game, PS2.
Yeah,
that shit was scary.
American McGee's Alice, and there's also Alice Returns, which is the sequel.
Alice
which I've never played, but I've always been interested in playing those games.
This shit is scary. Cat in the Hat in that game. Not Cat in the Hat. The fucking Cheshire Cat is scary. Yeah.
The Cat in the Hat was scary in his own movie.
You're right. It's scary.
What is that movie? The Cheshire Cat.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see this as a TV show because it sounds like it'll be very cool.
If they get the visuals right, I think it could look awesome. So
yeah.
I'm on board for that.
Alice. Yeah, she's just murdering people.
Last thing before we go to Q&A, the topic of Sony. It just came out today. Sony buying Bungie, or in talks to acquire them.
Why? They can just go anytime. Just get the rope. Fucking stupid people. What's wrong with you?
You think you're so funny, aren't you?
That's gonna go over some people's heads.
I know.
For a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is part of a quick 2-week retaliation response. Remember 2 weeks ago? Oh, the console wars, they're dead.
It's
no.
over.
Listen, this was like a double attack on both Activision and on Xbox, because it was like, hey, Xbox, we took your OGs. Also Activision, they left you, now they're hanging out with us. And while I still am hearing like, oh, it's going to still be multi-plat, like how Call of Duty, at least for the next 3 years, will still be multi-plat. How far until they have Bungie come in and help them make the next help and assist with Killzone, help with this Resistance game, because Insomniac's busy with other stuff. Go and help make a new SOCOM game. Like where's the when do they start using Bungie?
I could definitely see Bungie making a new Resistance with like all their experience with Destiny and Halo. It fits them like perfectly.
And as much as I don't play the Destiny games, when I did, they're fun to play. Like the controls and the mechanics felt fun, and that's what I feel is still missing from Halo in the newer ones. And it's just that Bungie magic. There's something about it. They know how to make a game feel good when you're playing it, like really good.
Yeah.
But I would like to see them do anything else besides make another Destiny game. Please, Bungie, try on making something else. Like, keep supporting Destiny. Don't stop that, but like make something else too.
Yeah, I saw on Twitter like Jeff Grubb was saying like Destiny is Phil Spencer's favorite game, and then
Yeah.
yeah, somebody quote tweeted with like the Green Goblin from Spider-Man is like, his heart, Osborn. You have to go for his heart.
That's good.
I love Green Goblin memes. They're so great.
Dude, the fact that there's literally a meme for almost any interaction based off Willem Dafoe is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe is just
He's when you think of national treasures, that's him.
Yeah, damn straight.
But yeah, we'll see what happens. Like, we probably won't feel the effects of it for like 2 or 3 more years of these acquisitions that have happened this month. But yeah, who knows what else is going to happen this year in gaming?
It's just such a fast turnaround deal. Like, I'm sure PlayStation was already trying to court Bungie at one point a long time ago, but this was like literally like listen, because when Bungie had said a couple years ago that they wanted like $2 or $2.6 billion to acquire them, everyone's like, oh, that's a little pricey for Bungie. You're only really making one thing. Like, that's a lot of money you're asking for. But this is like PlayStation going to them, listen, we will not only give you the money you're asking for, we'll do it right now. And they're probably like, nah, since you need us really bad, make it 3. And they're like, fine, here's $3 billion. Take it.
It's like,
at least it's not 70.
We just got to do something to like show Microsoft we're serious.
We need to trend today. All right.
Yeah.
We need to talk about how cool we are today. All right.
All right. Let's go to Q&A. So if you want to ask questions, you can either ask on Twitter or use the super chat, which already have.
Do super chats. Paleo
Yeah.
takes shirt off. There are more super chat.
Take your shirt
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
All right. So the first one was from Malik Webster. It says, what they need to do with these horror franchises is to scale things back and give them time to flesh things out, unintended, in a series like Ash versus the Evil Dead and Chucky, or even Channel Zero.
Oh, that's actually true. The Ash versus the Evil Dead and Chucky series were fucking great. Like, I love those shows. They actually did a lot of stuff that was like, oh, that makes sense. And also, they add so much to the gore factor where it's sort of like, instead of like with a horror movie, you're introduced to like victims just like, oh, I can't wait to see them die. And this one's like, there are people you're like, I want to see this bitch die. And then they have character growth because it's multiple episodes. Like, oh, fuck, no, please be safe. Oh, fuck, oh, no. And so it's just like, yeah.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense. I guess it's the same thing as like what people... I think the same thing kind of applied to what, like, The Walking Dead or game. Like, oh, I don't want this character to die, but he can at any time.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, another one from Enigma Prince, being a member for 5 months. Thank you. It says 5-month streak leading into 2022. What's one opinion of each of you that you won't budge on and that you would die on a hill for? The Last World Jurassic Park is a good movie. I will not.
I agree with you there.
I will not budge on that.
Oh yeah, I don't think that's budgeable. I think there's things I don't like in the film, but I love The Lost World.
Yeah, I was rewatching that like 3 or 4 weeks ago or some shit like that. And it was a fun. It's still, I don't know what. It's just that fucking gymnast scene that I think.
Yeah,
people get
really.
mad at.
People always
100%
hang up.
is that.
Yeah, people always hang up on that. It was like, there's so much other stuff in the movie that's great.
It's great. Literally, out of the entire Jurassic series, every movie, Camp Cretaceous, the books, you name it, there is nothing more tension-filled than when the trailer is hanging off the edge and 2 T-Rexes are coming out while the guy's trying to tow it and the glass is cracking. That is the most tension-filled scene out of the entire franchise, and it's in that movie.
And he feels so bad for the guy who gets
Eddie.
eaten in the end.
They share him. The T-Rexes share him. He doesn't just get eaten. He gets eaten and split in half. All right? They throw him up in the air and catch him. All right,
and then that was like when the T-Rexes always showed up like in the fucking rain too, and it was just like, god, why do they always show up at night? Like that was like a very cool thing about the first 2 Jurassic Park. Besides the ending of the first one, was like whenever the T-Rexes first showed up, it was like dark out, and it's like,
just like that entrance in the second film, man.
That was
the tree.
Yeah, that was
Mhm.
mainly to make the like CGI look better than it actually is.
And it worked.
Yeah.
Oh shit was
So, yeah,
horrifying.
Yeah.
Nothing has ever looked as good. But like,
Yeah.
dude, in the second, like when she's literally in that little like above the tree like lookout, and you see the trees moving below, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh no,
Oh god,
no.
here we
Like
go.
the music kind of died out, and then you just hear the rain. It's so good. And then just when they're running to the caves and the raptors and the T-Rex in the camp at night, and then through the waterfall.
Long
Are you
grass,
kidding me?
The raptors, where they
And
fucking
all that
pushed
whole
through the long
scene.
grass,
All of
don't
that.
go into the long grass. Don't go
Dude.
into the long grass. The shit was
Dude, no, that's scene cracked me over the guy. I was like,
And the guy who turns around and like you see his hat go back and forth. That shit is fucking hilarious because like an elf hat. Fucking, like,
All right.
This is just a snake. It gets eaten by a T-Rex.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, well, to be fair, a poisonous snake bite would suck
Buddy,
worse.
that
in
was
chunks.
that. I'm pretty sure that was also like a king snake.
Yeah, it wasn't
But yeah,
poisonous at all.
yeah.
So that was hilarious.
From Nathaniel Foga on Twitter asking, with the trailer for another Texas Chainsaw Massacre film being released, what would you guys consider a film franchise that has been unnecessarily milked / revived way too many times?
Star Wars. Fuck you.
Oh, hey, the milking has just begun for Star
I know,
Wars.
but
it's
Mandalorian. I actually
There
like
is
a lot.
17 shows they announced that are still not out yet. There's a lot of
Yeah.
Star Wars to come.
I love the
Mandalorian,
episode of Boba Fett that was just an episode of The Mandalorian.
Oh,
Oh, you missed our talk.
Yeah,
Yes,
you missed
we
the
were
talk
talking
about
like
that.
in depth about how it was the best
Oh
thing.
man, I
So-
fucking laughed.
so
I was
good.
sitting there, and I was like 90% of the way through, and I'm like, did I click on the wrong thing? Like, what's happening?
Just remind you that Mandalorian season 3 is going to be hype. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying. It's like, hey, look, this is what a fun Mandalorian-based show looks like. Because you're telling me that Boba Fett's now boring. Like, Boba Fett
Yeah.
has all this mythology built up about who he is, and this is going to be great. And he's like, he's kind of like political and diplomatic, and he just walks around and does stuff.
And it's just like
I'm
you
like,
should have
I
just did a
don't
fucking
care.
prequel, like on
sure,
him.
but this is Boba Fett. Like, there is legends about this, and we've talked about him for decades, and his legend is,
They made him.
well, I just want my stuff back.
Right. I don't know. He feels so empty. Like this character was never created with the intention of being a big deal, in my opinion, for the Star Wars original cinematic stuff. But
Yeah.
like, I know expanded universe is like fucking tons of.
Yeah, they
lore
made
stuff.
like they had like whole shits of them, like him fighting Darth Vader. That was actually kind of hype.
Mandalorian having a clean slate as a character was nice. And but for Boba, I'm like, God, like what's dude, the fight in the first episode where he's like surrounded by the shields, he's like slapping them or whatever.
Oh,
I'm like,
dude.
this is awful. And I laughed
No,
with like we're the cyber Wolverine gangsters and we run this parts of Mos Eisley. And I'm like, what the fuck am I looking at? This looks bad.
The
Yeah,
worst
and then
thing
they
about the
fucking,
show,
Oh
stop giving me Tatooine.
Yeah,
I
seriously.
don't care about this planet anymore. We have seen every little bit of this planet. It is boring. We've told every story we can on here. We've seen every character come back here every day. Like, can we just go to anywhere else in the universe?
We're going back
No.
there with Obi-Wan.
Please,
It'd be funny
I
if
swear
they-
to
yeah.
God. I'm so
Yeah, you know
tired
what?
of this.
Jordan.
You know what I'm mad about? They made Black Chrysanthemum, the fucking Black Wookiee, that everyone was like, oh god, he's so fucking hype in the comics and shit like that. They made him into a bitch. And it's just like, oh wow, with this. And then like I remember the scene with the whole thing with the lizard people. Like I had to ask my friend who's like a massive Star Wars fan, because like I thought he was just having a day. And then like I found out, oh no, you see the reason why Black Chrysanthemum did that was because on his homeworld, those lizard people specifically hunt Wookiees for their pelts and do all this other stuff and like they treat them like slaves and do all this shit. And so he got triggered seeing them and doing that. And it's like, you didn't say that in the show or allude to that in the show. So I didn't pick it up because I didn't get a chance to read those comic books. And so I was just like, what the fuck? Like, oh man. But then I read the comics. He's a badass. Black Chrysanthemum, they did him dirty. Fuck.
Wow, how much cool stuff there is outside of the things I don't watch, you know?
Right.
Like, or other things I do watch. I guess to me, actually, it'd be pretty funny if they got on the desert planet and they're like, another desert planet, and the ground starts shaking. There's a fucking dune worm.
What is the
fuck.
one that
So much more
Ray was
interesting
on?
than
What was the desert planet Ray was on? Because it wasn't Tatooine. It was a clone of Tatooine.
It doesn't matter.
I forget.
Yeah,
She's
it does
on-
matter.
I
it was a
forgot
junk
the
world.
name of it.
Tatooine. Because it's
Yeah.
Tatooine.
It was a junk world, is what I remember. It was literally like they treated it like
Did
that's
it
like
start-
this
Did it
is
start with a
junk park.
J? I don't remember.
I don't know.
You're right. It does. Tiro. I don't know.
Fuck it, Jakku. That's
Oh,
what
yeah,
Jakku,
Jakku.
Anyway, next question from Enigma Prince on Twitter says, since our guy Jordan made a Shonen Jump / manga video, what was your gateway manga or
Let me
anime
see it.
or gateway manga or anime that you got you into anime or manga?
Well, I talk about it in the video.
You did this a day ago. I missed it. I literally watched your.
Everyone missed it.
I literally watched your other one about like freaking what was it, Zim, the other day. So I need to freaking catch up. What happened to Shonen Jump? Okay, yeah, no, I will.
Yeah, so I started with manga because I found, I'll just give you that little spoiler from the video. I was at Blockbuster when I was a kid, Yu-Gi-Oh! Volume 1. And if you don't know about Yu-Gi-Oh! Volume 1 through 7 is basically Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0 for the anime, where Yugi like just straight up, he just kills people in different games,
so
and it is so entertaining. And I was already a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! At that age, and to be like, oh wow, the origin, oh my god, he's killing people. And then I found out that I won't spoil the story if I got into Shonen Jump, because I think that's kind of cool for the video. But then I got into Shonen Jump, and then I learned about other manga. And and then that's how I started my love for all the other stuff outside of just Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh!, where I branched off into, there's a lot of other anime.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of us, like for me, Saber and Jax, it was like Toonami pretty much.
Well, for me,
Toonami was great.
Yeah, Toonami was great. I think for me though, because like my dad and I used to watch this when I was like 3 years old. I watched this anime called Gigantor, the giant robot.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like that. So I used to watch that old black and white anime all the time back in the day. And so I did, but I didn't register that it was different than American cartoons, because like apparently Transformers was considered anime too, and then like all this other stuff. So I was like, oh, there's a bunch of stuff I was watching that was considered it. I think like the of course the big one was like, of Pokemon and shit like that. Like that was the one which was like, oh fuck, what is this? And then fucking Dragon Ball Z came out. I was like, move your fucking way out.
Ironically for me, it was the opposite, where I remember like waking up Saturday morning, and I just knew that Dragon Ball was different from the other cartoons, because that was the first time I ever saw an anime. And I'd be like, Dad, I want to go watch the one with like the karate guy and his son on the cloud. And I would watch the first season of Dragon Ball Z with my dad, and I was like, this is so cool. Like,
yeah,
dude, I gotta say, the day that Goku went Super Saiyan, I was like in 5th or 6th grade, and I felt like I was gonna cry.
Yeah, because I remember like, because I would always get off the bus with my cousin.
I'm glad you continued the sentence. So
I get off. Yeah, I know. I got off.
He went Super Saiyan. Oh, I got off.
Okay, I understand. Same here.
but yeah, I got off the bus with my cousin at his house, because like at that point, like my parents weren't home from work, so I would stay at my cousin's house, and he had Cartoon Network, I didn't, and that's, by the time we got off the bus, that's when Toonami was on, and that's how like I watched Dragon Ball Z, and like I remember like watching through the entire like Frieza saga that way. So
that was a big deal.
That was a hype thing. No, because the thing with me is, like, I think, because originally I remember being that kid where everyone was like talking about Dragon Ball Z, and I was just like, man, fuck you, Pokemon's the best. What the fuck are you talking about? And I wouldn't watch it. And then like I finally watched it, and I was like, oh, this is fucking hype. And so my mom saw I really liked it, so she started getting me the VHS tapes. And so the VHS tapes were like so much further along in the story. And so like I remember seeing a picture of Super Saiyan Goku, and I didn't know it was Goku. I was like, who is this character? And then I was just like, oh, that's Goku. And then I was like, but why is he blonde? And I was just like, what the fuck's going on here? And then I had to like watch the entire thing all the way through to understand the context. And I was like, oh fuck. And then like when it happened, I was like, bro, this is godly.
Well, I was like brought to tears. It was my classmates and I hyped it up so much. It was glorious. But yeah, Toonami. I think Toonami is the official like emissary of anime to me. Like, just wait, that was a question, right? Like, how we
anime? What got you in anime?
Toonami was the main one. I remember seeing like Big O, Cowboy Bebop, and I was like, holy shit, this is. I'm like, what is this? This is like a brand new world being just dumped on me. Dude, I was talking to Laura about this. Where like, what cool segments Cartoon Network had? Like, I know it's technically Cartoon Network in a way, but like. You got Adult Swim with like the like American animation, like adult humor. and it ranged from something like as like amazing as Boondocks, something as simple as like Aqua Teen,
Yeah.
and then you got like this amazing anime with Toonami. I mean, we were spoiled with like our television blocks.
You know what's so funny about that? It was like a few days ago, I got into like not even an argument, but it was like someone had a misunderstanding. So it was like, you're clearly like, you must have been born in like the 2010s or like late 2000s, something like that. Because like I was talking, I think I commented on one of the Adult Swim old bumpers where they're actually in the pool, like all kids out of the pool, Adult Swim,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. And so like I was like, man, I remember when Adult Swim only used to be on freaking Sundays, and they moved it to Saturdays and Sundays, and then someone was like, no, Adult Swim's been on every Monday through Sunday for all the time. I was like, no, it has not. I specifically remember when it moved to like being multiple days a week, and then it finally started being every day. That was a big deal in middle school. It's like, you don't know. I was like, bruh, you can check fucking Google. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, it's right there. Like
Baby boy, sit down.
I remember how like mind blowing it felt like it when I was younger in Adult Swim, and I realized like another connection, like why it's called kind of also Adult Swim, aside from like, all right, it's the adults' turn of the day to watch stuff. At a regular pool, like if you had a community pool in a neighborhood and you went to it, Adult Swim would be around 10 to 15 minutes, and a lot of their shows are 10 to 15 minutes long in segments.
Oh wow! Oh shit! Is that really what it was?
I mean, that's the connection I made. I was like, wow, a lot of their shows, unless they're like kind of syndicated to play reruns of other stuff, like Family Guy or whatever,
like Venture Brothers too.
All their original stuff was like 11 to 15 minutes long, an episode.
So used to be a lifeguard. So there you go.
Yeah, 10 minutes. But they got rid of Adult Swim at my pool, like the very end, where Adult Swim was gone. Apparently, get this, it was discrimination against children, and that was
now they'll starve.
And that was, I think, an actual state thing that happened, where it wasn't like an HOA or a neighborhood thing. It was a state decision. I'll have to verify.
When did you stop being a lifeguard? Like 2013, right?
I think it was 2012 or 13. Yeah.
Because I remember you had Vine and stuff. No, because like I remember for us, Adult Swim was like I can't remember what age you had to be. I think it was like if you were like a teenager that was under 18, you weren't allowed to. And so like if you were 16 but looked like you were 18, they would still kick you out or some shit like that. But I was like that always like was weird to me. But like I guess like 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds have to do whatever.
I mean, when it comes to Adult Swim, I don't mind it because that's like it sucks. Like, oh man, I can't keep swimming, but like that's the 15 minutes where you get to go and eat some Cheez-Its and relax for a second, and then you jump back in.
Yeah, and then you get a cramp.
Then you get a cramp. Yeah, you can't go swimming that fast. It's like, shut up, mom. I'm doing it anyway.
Remember, so I was seeing that picture about like, oh, I'm this old, and like of like the picture of fish at Walmart. It's like I don't know why you Jax, you bringing up Vine or whatever brought this into my head. Remember when Twitter didn't have GIFs?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Like I'm that old.
No, you
remember when there wasn't a Twitter?
Remember when fucking Twitter, like you couldn't, like when you had to upload a picture, you had to use TwitPic to upload a picture.
Yeah. Dude, don't remind me. Holy shit.
That was fucking crazy.
How did we use the internet?
Remember when your YouTube channel could have an original background like your MySpace profile?
Remember when you couldn't have custom thumbnails?
Remember when you could DM people on YouTube? Like, just like, hey, I like your content. Just DM them right there.
Remember, girls?
Remember when we had dislikes?
Oh, yeah. Good times, eons ago.
Dude, and then the creme de la creme is like lifting the phone to disconnect your internet is like, kids nowadays can't. Well, oh no, it's happening.
We're spoiled.
Yeah.
Can't wrap their minds.
Kids these days don't understand that if you got on the internet back in my day, we had to walk 15 miles to the fucking.
When we wanted to play the video games, we inserted a disc into what we called an optical drive.
And we were happy to do it.
One time I put a floppy in.
Back in my day, boy, we had to walk 15 miles to the Pokemon store.
So
up and down both ways.
I'll go over a few more questions here. Kevin asking, do you guys ever find yourself keeping track of how many times you've watched a specific movie? I've watched Rainbow Rocks at least 9 times so far, and Lynch of Everfree at least 6 or 7. And also, do you guys go back and watch any of the older episodes of the Bronies React videos?
I was watching them this past week, as a matter of fact, for Burning Direct. But I don't like keep track. I just watch a lot of shit.
Yeah, I was keeping track of when I was watching Lego Movie for a while, and then I stopped, and I also kept track of watching the recent My Little Pony: A New Generation movie. I've watched it probably at least 10 times now.
Yeah, see,
and
you know what's funny about that?
And Jurassic Park, I've watched, I don't know, 100 times. So
no, yeah. No, like
Literally.
there's some movies where it's just like I think I've watched it 100 times. Like for example, back in the day, I had this VCR that like for kids out there, VCR was this yeah, you're not that young. So okay, there was a thing where you just put the movie in, and as soon as the movie end, it would automatically rewind to the beginning, but it would play it again. Like it wouldn't stop, it would just play it again. And so like I think for like 5 days straight, I watched Gremlins 1. Like I fucking love Gremlins 1. Like I had that playing in the background like 5 days straight, and I never got bored of it. So I was just like, shit.
Automatic rewinder?
Yeah, one of those automatic rewinders. It did it like I think I like broke the VHS.
Like I had to hit the button.
No, you know it was cool. No, yeah, it was like no, like what happened was like yeah, like it would literally.
That's such a nostalgic noise.
No, oh god. Let me see if I have it downstairs because I know we have like 6 VCRs downstairs, but like there was like it was so dope because it would just like literally end and then it was just like doing the shit and it was just like it was good. What were we saying, Saber?
I actually have an answer. I remember like there was one summer when The Emperor's New Groove was released on video. My mom was like going to our school because she was volunteered to help like paint this hallway at the school. And my little sister and I would go with my mom, and we bring a little TV that we had and I think it was they had a VCR at the school or something, and we had Emperor's New Groove. And every day we go to Public, get our Blimpie sandwiches, and then watch the Emperor's New Groove. And yeah, that movie, I watched the hell out of that film. But I think I've watched Napoleon Dynamite like 20 times. I love that film.
Napoleon Dynamite is a fucking great film. I still have no idea what the plot of that fucking movie is. I've seen it so many times, but I have no idea what the plot of that movie is.
No one knows.
Yeah.
Can you believe that, like, in 2 more years, that film's 20 years old?
Don't say that.
1994.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's where we draw the line.
Wait. Do we have to do the test with the chat? How many of y'all were born after Jurassic Park was made?
Oh, a lot of them.
Like, yeah, I know. I want to see it.
Everyone.
Every time they freaking every time that happens. Jordan,
1993 is when Jurassic Park
1993.
Yeah.
93.
94 is when Lion King came out.
After 1993. There you go. I want to see this because I have my Shredder gift from Secret of the Ooze times.
Babies.
Babies.
You know what I would like to see introduced is only for creators' use on their own videos, but you can reply to comments with GIFs. If someone leaves you a nasty comment or something that's like, no shit, Sherlock, you can just kind of reply with a GIF rather than having to like type out a response or something.
That'd be brilliant.
But only you can leave GIFs on your own videos. So like no one in the comments can just spam GIFs, but you can reply with GIFs.
You remember on YouTube, I don't know why YouTube took, I guess I do, because like I guess some people would like spam it. But like there was this whole thing before where YouTube had if someone replied to your comment, you could erase their reply to your comment on other YouTube channels. Like if let's say I commented on Donkey's channel or something, right? And I was like, oh, this is fucking great. And someone was like, oh, you're a bitch. I could erase their comment and then they just be gone. Yeah, like you literally could it will literally say delete their comment, and then I was just like, oh, they're gone. But then I guess too many people were abusing that. Like I guess they would say they would just say fucked up shit. So it's just like, okay, yeah. So no wonder.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, a couple more here. From Santa Celine asking, so thoughts on the MLP G5 game being made? I was hoping it would be made by Square Enix. Could only dream. Yeah, no, they're not gonna.
Is it a fighting game?
No, we don't know what it is at the moment,
fighting?
but it's funny because there's gonna be a G5 game on consoles and stuff. The G4 never had anything. They only had mobile stuff.
But is it gonna be is it gonna be a fucking a preschool ass game?
I don't know. It's by Outright Games, who publishes a lot of stuff like that. Like they've published a Ben 10 game before, a bunch of other different things. So it probably won't be great.
No, I don't think it's gonna be anything to look forward to.
Yeah.
You know, if you're saying like some fighting is magic shit was coming out later,
Yeah.
like, Hasbro was like, "What were we doing? We could have made billions. What the fuck is wrong with us?"
All right, from John asking thoughts on Dexter's laboratory ego trip. Should have been the real sent off to the great series.
Yeah. It is.
Say so.
No, the rest of it is just choose your adventure. Like, you know, there are so many series like that where I say like they have a solid cutoff ending, and then like the rest of the series, I'm just like, yeah, that's you don't have to watch that at all. Like, though there is one episode of the later seasons of Dexter that I did like with wait, it was like there was one with the robots and you're riding that hog, and then there was one with like the come on baby it's you and me, and then like there's this fucking boy band germ thing. I thought that was hilarious, but
from Brandon King, question for Jordan Fringe. Cool to find out you're into to manga too. What are your top 3 manga series?
Yeah, what are your top 3?
That's a good one. I have a tattoo of it. I don't care if it's cliche to say. I loved it growing up. I still love it now. Death Note. I love the manga, the best version of it. Over, like I love the anime as well, but the manga is my preferred ending of the series.
Mm-hmm.
Flame of Recca was one I really liked because it was a lot like Yu Yu Hakusho.
And, oh yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho is so good.
And I'd probably choose Yu Yu Hakusho as my other one. So I was very into those. Like, here's a tournament and they fight. Like there was a lot of those because that shonen was like, sure. Even though Flame of Recca is not a Shonen Jump related thing, but it's still basically the same concept, you know. So that was. I'm trying to think if there's like any others that like stand out like above those in my head because I have a lot. Like you see a lot in my background in that video. I get a lot of comments because have you heard of Eyes, the manga Eyes? It's I and the apostrophe. It's I. It looks like the word is, but it's like I, but multiple eyes. Like it's explained in the manga.
Okay.
There's I have all the issues of it, and it's a very like horny on main manga.
Okay.
And I've gotten a lot of comments like, "Yo, you're just really being out here horny on main." I'm like, "Hey, listen, I like sometimes you just gotta okay."
Right.
And I like that. Rave Master. I like
Rave Master. That's classic.
Like, see, I tried Fairy Tail, but I was like, everything feels so close to Rave Master because of the same guy.
Like he reuses designs like over and over and over again.
That whole show, like the whole manga, like literally Fairy Tail just looks like, hey, it's like the whole American Horror Story. It's like, hey, let's take all the same characters and just throw them in a new setting and make them do different
things. It's like that show Eden Zero that he did, and it's just like they're characters that are just like, again, he just uses the exact same faces and format. It's just like, that's just Luffy, that's just Gray, that's just Urza, shit like that. And it's just like, okay, I mean, I haven't got a chance to check it out yet, but I remember I really did like original Fairy Tail. But yeah, I did you ever see the crossover with Rave Master and Fairy Tail? They had like
I didn't even know they crossed over. What?
Yeah, they had like a OVA crossover of like Rave Master and Fairy Tail. It was pretty cool. Yeah,
that sounds. I gotta look at that.
Yeah.
Prince of Tennis. I'd like some sports ones. Prince of Tennis is pretty funny.
Hajime no Ippo is pretty cool too.
There's a scene in Prince of Tennis I'll never forget because I was like, "Whoa, tennis is intense." There's a part where a guy hits a ball so hard that it cracks the other guy's racket, and the ricochet piece goes and almost cuts this guy's eye, and it leaves like that little cut mark under his eye and the blood splurting. And I was like, "Oh my god, this is just tennis, guys! Like, relax." And that's when I realized a lot of manga sports, sports anime, sports manga, are really over the top intense, and that's why I like them more than real sports.
No, I think sports anime, and I'm gonna say it right here, I like sports anime more than shonen shit. I do. Okay, I really do, because there's so many times where shonen just sort of seems repetitive, but with sports, it's just like, oh shit, like I can actually. I can understand the weight it would take to do this move that you're doing right now, even though you're doing an anime style. So it's just like, fuck, this is right.
All right, last question here from Ozzy asking, what show or movie that a lot of people like, but you hate it or don't care?
What show or movie? Oh, well, I can't say Pixar's Up because I rewatched it with y'all.
The one that first came to mind for me, and I was so surprised when it came out, where how many people were saying like, "Oh, they're finally doing it right," or so many critics came out, and I think it's still at like 95% or whatever on Rotten Tomatoes. Is the Jungle Book remake? I don't like it at all.
Fuck that movie. Yeah, no. To me,
Scarlett Johansson's a snake. What do you mean?
Wait, what does that have to do with the movie?
Yeah,
Scarlett Johansson's a snake.
It makes it better. It makes it so much better. No,
I gotta say, Scarlett's got a nice butt though.
Yes, she does. Well, I will say this about the Jungle Book movie. like I like the first half of it, but I don't think like the Mowgli actor is that good. But then when King
Mowgli
Louis just
actor
starts singing,
sucks.
yeah, exactly. When the King Louis starts singing, that completely takes me out of the movie, and the movie just goes downhill. And then at the end of the movie, there's this whole thing where Shere Khan is like, "Well, I was a villain all along, mate, and I'm Idris Elba, and I'm fucking you up, mate," and shit like that. And it's just like, okay, god damn it. And it's just,
Hey, that's the
yeah.
future James Bond you're talking about.
Oh, I know he's great, but like, there's a scene where it's like, well, all the animals are there. Just fucking jump his ass. All right, he just said he's a bad guy.
There's like an elephant there. Just stomp
Yeah,
on him.
stomp his ass. But they're like, oh no, they have to have this one-on-one fight, and it's just like only the wolves jump him when it's just like the
Not
fucking
bare
elephant.
necessities.
Yeah,
And then they made another Jungle Book like 2 years later with like Andy Serkis or whatever. And it's
That
like,
was fucked up.
Mowgli,
Dude,
yeah.
yeah, Mowgli.
there's Mowgli and Mowgli. I'm with you, Paleo. People were like, "Oh, it's amazing." I remember like one of my mom's friends was like, "This is the best movie I've ever seen." I'm like, "Go out, watch more movies, please." Like, this is not good.
I think why a lot of critics or reviews were like high on it is because the effects and like proving that
Yeah.
this Lion King remake that was coming could look as good as they could do it. So I think it was more of like a tech showcase film than like, hey, we're trying to do something cool with the Jungle Book. It was like, let's use the Jungle Book to make some really cool effects and be like, look, that looks like a real snake, doesn't it? Nope, that's a voice actor.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not even a voice actor. It's Scarlett Johansson, excuse me.
Scarlett Johansson's fine ass as a snake.
Yeah, we're watching and we're like, she's not that good of a voice actor, but she got a nice ass, so we'll let it slide. We will allow it. The Lion King 2019. I have contempt for that movie, and I can't wait to see.
You mean Kimba the White Lion 2019 live action?
How dare! The YMS has been working on a video for the 2019 Lion King, and I'm like so psyched for it. He's gonna drop the hammer so hard on that film.
I mean, he puts a lot of time into his videos. He puts years into them, it feels like.
Right, which is a gamble on YouTube because it values algorithmic. Well, in the scope of how do you measure success? But like his videos are fucking bangers. Like it's worth the wait. So
for sure,
good shit.
I see in the chats, Kevin said, I freaking hated Jim Henson's dinosaurs. How dare you?
How dare you? You fucking slag. How fucking you get it fucking and shit like that. Everyone has different opinions.
I'm trying to think of a show that everybody likes, but I don't.
Oh, fucking Adventure Time. I hate that shit. It's so awful. Like, everyone likes the shit. And freaking Paleo has freaking, like, Stockholm Syndrome with it because he was like, I hate this show in 2014.
I came around.
Yeah. Powerpuff Girls wouldn't hurt you.
Yeah, I can't think of a show. The movie came immediately though.
Game of Thrones. No, Game of Thrones. Everyone turned on that.
Man. I wish people didn't wrap me up into it. I was like, fine, I'll watch it, and then look what happened.
Yeah,
it's all your fault. You ruined it,
dude. I've never seen a show go to shit so quickly. That broke my heart. I remember the night when I was actually in denial, where it was a finale with the battle at like Winterfell. And when the battle started, I was like, this doesn't look good visually. Is my TV broken?
Yeah, I thought my TV was broken.
The amount of mistake, you could just feel the rushing in that, like, because like they were offered a full season and they chose less episodes so they can rush and go make the Star Wars movie that they eventually lost anyway because of the reception of Game of Thrones.
And got thrown into Hollywood, like director jail.
Like the fact that there's coffee cups and like random stuff and so many shots throughout the last season, and the fact that they premiered an episode with the first battle, right? And it was pitch black and everyone thought their TV screens were messed up and they just did not fix it in post before publishing the episode. And when you go back and watch it like again on streaming or on a Blu-ray or whatever, it looks great. It's fixed. But when you watch it on TV, you could not tell what's happening. You're like, someone's alive, someone's dead. I can't see what's happening at all. They're just fighting in darkness.
It's also riddled with like that entire like, oh, it looks cool, but like strategically this is beyond stupid. Like, let's take our Dothraki and just dump them into a bunch of zombies that turn them into zombies. And I'm like, that's There are things in like storytelling where it's like that doesn't make sense, and you just broke my immersion. Like it's just so overwhelmingly stupid that I don't care if it looks cool.
Yeah.
We'll have catapults. We'll put the Dothraki in the catapults and shoot them out of the catapults into the zombies. Would look fucking cool. And it's like, no, it's
Let's
dumb.
hide the like survivors down the corpse basement where
And
there's other corpses that could be turned into fucking stupid shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's a Biff ending.
It's a bit shitty-ish.
It's a
But,
bit shitty, mate. That's why I didn't do that show.
Sorry about that, bruv.
That'll be it for the podcast. We'll have another one in February.
It's February, isn't it?
In February.
Which will be
Tuesday.
oh my god, it's going to be on Valentine's Day. On the 14th.
Well, Lord knows that you guys will be available. No, I'm joking.
Wow.
You know, you say that, but you know how true that is.
Sorry.
Listen, I bought myself a little heart-shaped Mario tin.
I
chocolate.
ain't buy myself some chocolate.
I saw my chance. I had to go for it. But yeah, I'll be on a date with my girlfriend. Sorry.
We get it, man. You're
Sorry.
cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I'll be on a date with
Saber.
with my actually
Yeah.
Laura and I we don't do Valentine's Day.
Well, you
But,
can do it any day.
Exactly. That's our why we need a
How
date.
relationships work.
Yeah.
It's Valentine's Day every day.
Oh,
Yeah.
a lot of chocolate.
Lot of chocolate.
All right. Yeah, the 2-year anniversary of the Sonic movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Great.
We just need to wait for Sonic 2 and all this shit will end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sonic
You know,
2's got to end the pandemic. The Sonic 2's got to
Yeah,
do it.
I'm
Sonic,
thinking it's
please do
Sonic
it.
3.
Pretty great.
I'm thinking it's Sonic 3 because we got that big spike this year. I'm telling you, in 2 more years,
Yeah.
Sonic 3 is official and no one will ever have it again.
Sonic's gonna outlast the pandemic. We'll see.
Oh God.
He just keeps running.
All right. All right. We'll see you next time. See you on Valentine's Day, everybody.